Coming up next, high school football on your sports leader in Lorain, WLCS TV 20.
And welcome back to Midview High School. Rob Polinsky here with you, joined by Matt Bean up in the broadcast booth, and down on the field for sideline reports, we have Craig Couch. And Matt, great to be here with you for another year, 2014, the lid lifter, high school football on WEOL.com, stream number 2. Just a tremendous atmosphere here at Midview High School, and this could be a heck of a game. But this is a picture-perfect night. This is what high school sports is all about tonight.
It really is, and just the atmosphere that you've got going on. Week 1 of high school football is mere seconds away from getting ready to kick off, and we're in for a doozy tonight. I can feel it.
Kellen McGuire will kick off for the Midview Middies. Midview in their dark uniforms, they've got blue numbers and gray helmets. And it's like 6:53. They're ready to tee it up and kick off, but I'm not sure we're going to kick the ball off 7 minutes before 7 o'clock. Both teams are out on the field. It's only 6:53, guys. I'm not sure. I mean, I know they're excited to start the season, but I don't think we can start the season 7 minutes before the start of the ball game. But
the boys are ready. I'm just not sure if the group of officials that were just huddling in the center of the field are ready.
I think they're going to let them start early. Wow, they are going to let them start early. What the heck?
It's back.
It is back. Dontravius Hawthorne and Perry Mincy back deep for the Lorain Titans. The Midview Middies in the black uniforms. They've got blue numerals, gray pants, gray helmets. Lorain, the away white jerseys, blue pants. They've got white helmets. Kellen McGuire, a sophomore, to kick for the Middies. And we're going to start the season 5 minutes early. Why not? The kick is high and short, and it is going to go out of bounds. So that'll be a penalty on the Midview Middies. And let's see what Lorain elects to do. Looks like the Titans will take the football. Let's set the Lorain starting lineup for you. It'll be Eddie Williamson at quarterback. Running backs are Dontravius Hawthorne and Sherman Saunders, along Carlos Chavis will play as well. At wide receivers, they'll run in and out. Bakarier Sims, Kevin Davis, Dejon Brown, and Perry Mincy. Up front, Josh Finn, Chris Mayer, Roger Jones is the center, Nelson LeBoy, and Sly Worthy. Spread offense, Williamson out of the shotgun, 2 backs on either side of him. First play of 2014. It's a snap back to him, and he'll hand it off to Chavis. Chavis over the left side, nowhere to run. And the Middy defensive line is right there to haul him in at the line of scrimmage, nowhere to run. Let's set the Middy defense for you. Up front, Trey Preston, Jordan Shovel, and the nose man is Nick Shepard. The linebackers on the outside, Jacob Hack, Brett Zupancic. And on the inside, Kyle Troutman and Zach Nash. Corners are Ryan Miller, Dante Redwood, and the free safety is Logan Boland. Strong safety, Cole Frank. 2nd and 9 for the Lorain Titans. Williamson takes it. He'll fake the handoff. He's going to keep it now. He's going to pitch at the last minute up to the 40, 45-yard line, out to the 48-yard line. Dontravius Hawthorne with a first down run of 13 yards out to the 49.
And there was a great option read there by the quarterback. Williamson came around the corner, saw the defender coming at him, pitched it right out, gained extra yards on that.
No huddle for the Titans. 3 wide outs, 2 to the far, 1 to the near side. Back split between Williamson. Williamson turns. He'll hand it off to Hawthorne. Hawthorne across midfield into Lorain territory down to the 46-yard line. That's a positive gain of about 6 yards. He's brought down by a couple of the Middies.
Hawthorne again, the ball carrier, brought down.
No huddle. They're right back at it. Boy, in this heat, this is hard to play. And again, hand off to Hawthorne. Hawthorne up the gut, gets to the 39. 1st and 10 Titans all the way down to the 39-yard line. And bringing him down for the Midview Middies is Zach Nash. Lorain is lining up and playing quick. They start the clock, 10:49 to go first quarter. 1st and 10, Titans hand it off to Hawthorne. Hawthorne stopped behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of 2 yards. Great job of the defensive line of Midview penetrating and getting in there, and that time that was Trey Preston, 6'1", 243, and a junior.
And that's what you have to do if you're the Middies here. You got to put a stop to this big run game that Lorain has going for him this far.
Damian Mahone comes into play, a linebacker for Kyle Troutman. 2nd and 12, turn to pitch to Hawthorne. Hawthorne over the left side. Hawthorne brought down at the 38-yard line by the man who just came into the game. Damian Mahone comes in off the bench to make the tackle. It'll be 3rd and long for the Titans.
And Hawthorne's already got 27 yards on 5 carries. This early in the game, if the Middies let this continue, they're going to be worn down come the second half.
3rd and 9. We've played 2 minutes, no score, opening drive of 2014. Titans have it 3rd and 9. Back to roll out is Williamson. He steps up, wants to throw, fires, has a man, it's complete, 1st down. Making the catch, Perry Mincy, a senior. 1st down on the first pass attempt of the year from Williamson. He looked good rolling out, Matt, and found Mincy one-on-one.
He sure did, and the pass was a little wobbly, but kind of expect that early in the year, first pass of the season.
2 backs split behind Williamson. 1st and 10 from the Lorain 28. Handoff over the left side. Sherman Saunders gets his first carry of the ball game, and Sherman's going to go down to the 24. It's a gain of 3. This fast-paced, fast-break offense over Lorain, right back to the line of scrimmage.
And it's not too hot today, but you heard Coach Shaw in the pregame talk about they had a rough practice earlier in the heat, so you got to wonder if this is going to affect them.
2nd and 6. Snap, good snap back to Williamson. He's going to hand it off to Hawthorne. Hawthorne down to the 20-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2. Because of this no huddle, they're not running in plays, or not running in players, I should say. It's Dave McFarland signaling in what he wants done to Williamson. He calls the play. Handoff left side. Sherman Saunders gets the 1st down to the 16-yard line, maybe the 15. 1st and 10 Titans down to the mid 15-yard line. For the first time this year, let's go down to Craig Couch. Craig, good evening.
Well, guys, if you're the Lorain Titans, you got to like what you see so far. They're moving the football down the field. They're going right, they're going left, up the middle. They're going no huddle, and they're mixing in an occasional pass. Looks like a pretty good offensive game plan so far for the Titans.
Hand off to Sherman Saunders. Saunders going ahead. He gets down to the 10-yard line, a gain of about 5. And that is Craig Couch for his first sideline report of 2014. And that sideline report brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. Close to home, and they're helping to keep you doing what you love. They've now got 6 locations, including the new emergency room at Avon. Handoff over the left side. Hawthorne gets inside the 10. He'll be down to about the 5. It's either going to be 1st and goal or 3rd and short. I think he's down to the 4. He is. It's a 1st and goal. Boy, this Titan drive has been impressive. 8:10 to go first quarter. Williamson out of the shotgun. Williamson hands off to Saunders. Saunders to the outside, fell down, dropped the ball, recovered by Midview. The Middies recover the fumble. There's the first break of the ball game, and on the recovery, it's Jacob Hack. Jacob Hack with the turnover.
And that's a big turnover. You drive all the way down the field like that just to turn the ball over. That's luck for Midview because their defense had to get off the field without giving up a touchdown there, and they got lucky to give up no points. Let's see what their offense can do pushing back the other way. They got a long field to go, though.
All right, we'll go to Craig Couch after this first down play. We'll go to him after the play. 7:59 to go, first quarter. Now we got our first look at the Midview offense. 1st and 10 from their own 6. And winning the coin toss is Dustin Crum. He's the starting quarterback. He told us they were going to flip a coin in the locker room. Crum hands off to Zapancic. He'll get out to the 12-yard line. Now let's go to the sidelines and Craig Couch.
All right, guys, down here on the field, that fumble right in front of me on the 6-yard line, although there was pressure, that was simply just a botched handoff. And give credit to Jacob Hack, who was right there applying the pressure. All he had to do was fall on the football.
2nd and 3. Handoff Zapancic. Zapancic across the 15 out to the 18-yard line. 1st and 10. Let's set the offense for you for Midview. At quarterback is Dustin Crum. The running back is Brett Zapancic. Receivers Damian Mahone and Logan Bolin, along with Cole Franks and Dante Redwood. Up front on the left side, Nick Abahazi and Tim Rader. The center is Tyler Strebel. On the right side of the line, Mitch Hassman and Devin Smith. We'll get you the Titan defense after this first down play. Shotgun snap. Crum fakes short. He wants to throw long. Fires. It's going to be incomplete. 2nd and 10. For the defense of Lorain, defensive ends are Naz Bohannon and Kenneth Washington. The nosemen are Andres Torres and Anthony Vasquez. Outside linebackers, Rashad Berry and Robert Orsler. Linebackers on the inside, Sterling Jeffries, Aaron Huff. The secondary, Kevin Davis, Perry Mincy, Orlando Diggs. And the safeties are Sam McGeegan and Aaron Neal. 2nd and 10. 7:12 to go first quarter. Clock stop with the incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 from their own 19. Crum back to throw. Has time. Fires. It's incomplete at the 30. In and out of the hands of his intended receiver. He was trying to get it to Damian Mahone, and Aaron Neal broke it up. That last sideline report from Craig Couch was brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. We're proud to be involved with area school sports programs for 72 years. Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. Heck of a start here to this one, guys. 3rd and 10. This is a fast-paced game. I don't know if they can keep this up for 4 quarters. No huddles for both teams. Back to throw Crum. Has time. Fires. Has a man complete. First down to the 35-40. Still on his feet to the 45 across midfield. All the way down to the Titan 47-yard line. Dante Redwood with the reception. 5'9", 169-pound senior. And the Middies get into Lorain territory for the first time tonight. That fumble earlier is $15 in our Points for Charity by Mike Bass Ford at I-90 in Detroit. A great deal and a great deal more. WEOL proud to partner with Mike Bass Ford to raise money for the United Way of Greater Lorain County. 1st and 10, Middies at the Lorain 48. Crum gets a perfect snap back to him, out of the shotgun. Has time, steps up in the pocket, wants to run. Gets to the 45, down to the 43, where he is upended by a couple of the Titans, and they are Aaron Huff as well as Sterling Jeffries. I feel like we just finally can take a breath now.
Yeah, it's the first time in a long time. On that previous passing play, Crum made a nice pass right over the middle. Good pitch and catch and run after the catch. That's what you need, some yak.
2nd and 5 from the 43-yard line. Redwood comes in motion from the near to the far side of the field. And they're going to hand it off to Zupancic. Zupancic with a big hole across the 35. Bust down to the 30-yard line. First down, Middies. That's a gain of 13. 1st and 10, Midview. So both teams moving on their first drive. Lorain's drive ended with a fumble inside the 10. Midview has taken it from their own 6-yard line and gotten it all the way to the Lorain 30. And we'll get it to Craig Couch after this first down play. Zupancic is the single setback behind Crum, who is out of the shotgun. Crum takes it. He wants to throw out in the flat. Does so. Mahone has it 25-20. Mahone to the 15. Makes a man miss. And he is brought down out of bounds inside the 15. Let's go back to the sidelines once again. Here is Craig Couch.
Guys, Mitch Hassman, Tyler Strebel, and Tim Rader really getting a terrific push on the offensive line for the Middies, giving Zupancic plenty of room to run.
All right, thanks very much, Craig Couch. It's 1st and 10 from the Lorain 12-yard line. Midview's visit to the red zone for the first time. Lorain fumbled on their first opportunity in the red zone, and we're going to get a penalty against the Midview Middies. That's going to be a legal procedure. That last sideline report from Craig brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. Every athlete deserves world-class care. When you're injured, come to the new emergency room at the Richard E. Jacobs Family Health Center in Avon. Well, we want to welcome in the viewers of WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television, WLCS TV 20 on Time Warner Cable. Joe Bach here doing the video, and pleased that he's using our audio tonight for everybody in Lorain that's able to watch, and this will be on next week, probably starting Tuesday or Wednesday. Hand off to Zupancic. Zupancic inside the 15, down to about the 14. 5:15 to go, clock running, first quarter. But you can check out Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook for all your entertainment and informational needs. Follow them on Twitter at LCS_TV 20, or you can watch it on YouTube at Lorain Schools TV 20.
Brings up 2nd and 12.
2nd and 12 for Midview as we're under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Zupancic next to Crum. Crum gets a perfect snap. Looks to throw in the flat, and it is going to be caught at the 10-yard line. That's a heck of a catch by Logan Bolin. Cole Franks, I'm sorry. Cole Franks was really laid out to make that catch, man.
He sure did. The pass was a bit outside, but kid went out there and got it, made a nice catch, made sure he held on to the ball all the way through the catch so they could gain a yard on the play. But every yard counts in high school football.
10-yard line.
Third and 8. We should mention we've got Craig Couch tweeting and Dave Rydell on Facebook. You can follow those guys. pass out to Redwood in the flat. Redwood at the 10, at the 5, makes a man miss. Diving forward, does he get in? He does! Touchdown, Midview! 10-yard pass from Crum to Redwood, and the Middies are on the board. A 94-yard drive to start 2014.
That was a beautiful pass, but you know what? Mahone did all the work there after he caught the ball. Went through about 4 of the Lorain defenders, then dove for the end zone, got right in.
Crum to Mahone for 10 yards. And Midview's on the board 6-0. Kellen McGuire to attempt the PAT. So Midview, after the Lorain fumble, goes 94 yards for the touchdown. They get a good snap. The kick is up, and the kick is good. And just like that, Midview takes a 7-0 lead with 3:59 to go in the first quarter. And we'll keep it here to let you know that that touchdown is $15 in the Points for Charity, sponsored by Mike Bass Ford at I-90 in Detroit. A great deal and a great deal more. WEOL partnering with Mike Bass Ford to raise money for United Way of Greater Lorain County. An impressive drive, 94 yards in the final 10 from Crum to Mahone. And the Middies get on the board and lead at 7-0. And I want to finish my point. Craig Couch is tweeting. We've got Dave Rydell on Facebook with constant updates from what's going on here, Matt, in 2014. WEOL, out in front of social media.
You have to be nowadays. I mean, if you're not tweeting it, it doesn't matter. That's the way a lot of people look at it. I'm not going to say I agree with it, but that's the way technology has taken us. And as a side note, the football game that's going on, that's what you got to do if you're Midview. If Lorain's going to go all the way down the field, turn the ball over, you've got to give your defense a rest when they're off the field. Take that ball down the field and turn it into points. Nice drive by Midview. If they can continue that the rest of the night, they're going to be in good shape.
A heck of a start to this ball game. 3:59 to go first quarter. Midview out in front, 7-0. Kicking off for the Middies, it'll be Kellen McGuire. Lorain had a heck of a first drive, and it was stopped by a fumble. Let's see what they do on drive number 2. Hawthorne had it go through his hands. He has to go all the way back to the 5, trying to dive on it. Does he recover it? He does, inside his own 5. Oh, the Titans are going to start way backed up at their own 3-yard line. Dontravius Hawthorne couldn't field the ball cleanly, and that was almost a disaster for Lorain. They do fall on it, but Matt, it's all the way back inside their own 5.
And they're lucky they have a running game the way they do, because if they didn't, they'd be in serious trouble right now. As it is, though, Midview might put the pressure on and come after them and just try and stuff the runs right up the middle. Problem is, you got to make sure they can't get to the outside, because the way their running game is, they get to the outside, they could be gone for a touchdown.
Officials want to take a timeout and talk things over. While they do, we want to let you know that WEOL football games are online at WEOL.com, of course, including this streaming game. And those are sponsored by the University of Toledo. Discover experiential learning at the University of Toledo, just 2 hours from the Metro Cleveland area. Experiential? Is that what that word is? Matt, you're smarter than I am.
That's what it looks like to me.
Okay. Discover experiential learning at the University of Toledo. 1st and 10 from their own 3. I just read them. Out of the shotgun. Williamson takes it. He'll hand it off over the right side across the 5-yard line. A gain of a couple. And we got decaf Danny Perrick back at studio control. Great to have Danny back with us for 2014. Dave Rydell, our on-site engineer. Great to be here with him. And Craig Couch, Matt Bean, always a pleasure to be with you guys. Really looking forward to this season. 2nd and 8, 3:25 to go first quarter. Lorain trailing 7-0. Out of the shotgun, Williamson turns. He'll hand it off over the left side. Sherman Saunders. He is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Kyle Troutman in on the stop. It'll be 3rd and long. And Lorain's got to be careful here. You don't want to make a mistake inside your own 10. But if you don't get a first down here, now you're going to ask your punter, you're going to put him in a tough spot.
I look for a play action. They should be able to open it up with that. Even just a nice, easy pitch and catch. That should be able to get them a first down, or at least out of the danger zone if you got a punt.
3rd and 7 from their own 8. Williamson, he is going to hand it off over the left side, and they might get the first down across the 10 out to about the 14-yard line, very close to the first down. And I believe that time they handed that off to Dejon Brown. And it is a first down. Oh, that's a big play right there to convert on 3rd and long and keep the chains moving and keep them from punting from their own end zone. Big, big play by Lorain. Saunders comes in motion. Saunders, they're going to fake it to him on a jet sweep, hanging off to Chavez. Chavez slipped as he got across the 15 out to the 16. It's a gain of a couple. Don't forget this year, once again in our Nick Abraham postgame show, we're going to have the Lorain County Community College Player of the Game. Stay tuned after the ball game for the LCCC Player of the Game. 2nd and 7. And they hand off over the left side as Chavez is stopped. Short gain, nowhere to go. Several middies on the stop, one of those being Dalton Holtzman.
Chavez, the ball carrier, brought down by
So it's 3rd and 8. Under 2 minutes to go, first quarter. Out of the shotgun, Williamson to throw out in the flat for Saunders. Saunders in and out of his hands. Cole Frank stepped in front of it, and he got in the way as well, and it's 4th and 8, and the Titans have to punt.
That was a great defensive play by Midview there. Good pass by Williamson. Just his receiver got his hands on the ball, but Midview did as well, knocked it out. A little more concentration by Saunders, and he might have pulled that in and been able to get the first down, but as it is, Midview forces Lorain to punt.
And now Eddie Williamson standing at his own 5-yard line. Well, you've got to get a good snap here. So the starting quarterback is the punter. He gets a good snap. Williamson gets off the punt. It's high. It's relatively short. Fair catch called for and taken at the 39-yard line by Midview's Logan Bolin. And Midview's got great field position, and they're going to mark it at the Lorain 40. So it's about a 24-yard punt. A minute 46 to go in the first quarter. We've got a penalty flag, though, back to the line of scrimmage.
Flag on the play.
So let's see what the call is. They want to talk to Midview about it, so obviously the infraction going against Lorain. And let's see if they re-kick or what they have them do. DJ Shaw, first-year head coach, getting an explanation. And it looks like Lorain's going to re-kick. Minute 42 to go first quarter, 7-0 Lorain. I'm sorry, 7-0 Midview. 3:59 to go in the first quarter. Crum to Mahone for 10 yards. Got the Middies on the board. All right, it's a 5-yard penalty against Midview. It'll still be 4th down, so Lorain will still punt. It wasn't enough for a first down, but Lorain will punt and see if they can do better than having Midview get it at the Titan 40. So the 5-yard infraction goes against Midview. It's still 4th and 3 from their own 21-yard line. Williamson, high snap, he goes up to get it. Eddie with a running start, gets off a better kick. It is fielded at the Midview 44 by Bolin. Bolin makes a man miss at the 44, gets to midfield. So the Titans basically gain 10 yards on the infraction. So Midview will get it 1st and 10 from midfield.
And it's still great field position for Midview and the Middies. If you're going to start at the 50-yard line on every play, your defense has done something for your offense.
So the Middies have it. Second possession for them. Their first possession was a 94-yard drive, culminated in a 10-yard touchdown pass from Crum to Mahone. This drive begins with a minute 33 to go in the first half. First quarter, I should say. And a handoff, Zupancic. Zupancic inside, now bounces to the outside, to the 45-yard line, makes a man miss, and another miss at the 40, to the 35, still on his feet to the 30, down to the 25, Dragon Titans all the way down to the 22-yard line, 1st and 10 Midview. Red Zupancic, that was impressive.
That's a huge run by Zupancic, and he's a big boy. What does he go? He's 5'11", 250 pounds, so he's tough to bring down. And he ran 30 yards on that play, and he looked pretty swift doing it.
That's from Marblehead Matt. That's Matt Bean. His post game tonight is going to be a Marblehead. So Marblehead Matt is headed west. Back to throw is Crum. Crum fires towards the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown! Touchdown Midview. Logan Bolin on the receiving end from 22 yards out with 1:14 to go in the quarter. And the Middies lead by 2 touchdowns. Heck of a throw from Crum to Bolin.
And that's from one quarterback to the other quarterback. They just make things happen. They're on the same page, and things just come easier that way for you.
McGuire set to kick the extra point. Midview, 2 drives, 2 scores, a 94-yard drive and a 50-yard drive. So they've got 144 yards in total offense on 2 drives. That kick is up, and that kick is good. Midview leads this one by a score of 14-0. Let's send it down to Craig Couch for the sideline report. Craig.
All right, guys. Hey, big credit down here to Tyler Strebel on the offensive line for the Midview Middies. Not sure if you were able to see that from up there, but, man, he delivered a punishing block on the inside of the middle of the offensive line, a seal-off block that really sprung free Supancic on that 20-plus yard run. Again, a great job by the Midview offensive line. You know, earlier tonight we talked about this offensive line playing together really as starters for the first time, and so far I think the coaching staff has got to like what they see.
That sideline report from Craig Couch brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. If you're an aging athlete suffering with sore joints, call for relief. Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. 6 area locations, including the new emergency room in Avon. 2 drives, 144 yards. This Midview offense is clicking. Between the running of Zupancic and the arm of Dustin Crum. And the other thing I've noticed, this offensive line that we mentioned was big. Yeah, all 5 of them are new, but boy, what a job they are doing because Lorain is not getting any pressure on Crum.
They sure aren't. He's got all day back there in the pocket, and he can really look over the field and make his decision where he wants to go with his receiver.
Kick is a short kick, taken at the 20-yard line, 25-yard line, out to the 30. Still making a man miss and getting out to the 33-yard line. The return man, Kevin Davis for Lorain. And that touchdown means another $15 in the Points for Charity, sponsored by Mike Bass Ford at I-90 in Detroit. A great deal and a great deal more. WEOL proud to partner with Mike Bass Ford to raise money for United Way of Greater Lorain County. Already tonight, $45 from Mike Bass Ford going for our season-long Points for Charity. Penalty flag on the play. It's going to go against Midview. Face mask, 15-yarder, and this gives Lorain good starting field position at their own 48. 1:07 to go in the first quarter. Midview leads 14-0. Let's not forget, opening drive, Lorain was going right down the field. They fumbled on a 1st and 10 or a 1st and goal from about the 5. But they had it going. Let's see if this offense can get it cranked back up and get them back in the game. Williamson rolling left, run throw option. He's going to run it, and he slips and falls as he gets to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10.
And that's what you got to do if you're Lorain. You've got to mix it up some. I understand when you're a running team, you want to run the ball, but you've got to keep them honest with the pass because otherwise they're going to load the box and they're going to stop your run game all night.
2nd and 10. Clock running. Under a minute to go, first quarter. Again, another perfect snap. They'll hand it off to Chavez. Chavez over the left side. He is going to drag Middies down to the 44-yard line. It's a gain of 7. It'll be 3rd and 3. And again for Midview, Kyle Troutman, who's made a lot of tackles, in on that one. 3rd and 3 from the Midview 44. Probably the final play of the quarter. Handoff Chavez. Chavez over the left side. He's going to be stopped a yard short of the first down, and that is going to do it for the first quarter. 1 quarter in the books. Our score, it is Midview 14, Lorain nothing. You're listening to the WEOL. Colson & Colson Gridiron Clash. We're streaming live at WEOL.com.
One of my biggest passions in life is animals. That's why I've worked with Morris Animal Foundation for over 40 years. Morris Animal Foundation is a world leader in helping animals live longer, healthier lives. You can too. Just show your support at morrisanimalfoundation.org.
To help cats, dogs, horses, and wildlife live healthier lives, visit MorrisAnimalFoundation.org, where we are advancing science that will create a healthier tomorrow for animals.
14-0, Midview leads after one. Matt, some of your thoughts on the first quarter?
Well, I thought that Midview actually did a really good job offensively against the defense of the Lorain Admirals, or
Titans.
The Titans. Don't ask why it said Admirals, but it seemed fitting. Anyways, yeah, their offense looked really good. Lorain's offense looked really good, but Midview's defense is really, when it comes down to it, they really get the stops on the field and they cause the turnover. And the team who wins the turnover battle typically wins the game. So let's see if the Titans can get something going here, go down the field and put the ball in the end zone and kind of put a little bit of pressure back on the Midview offense where they have to score, because right now being up 14-0, you don't have to score. You want to score, obviously, but they don't have to score. So let's see how Midview does, maybe with a little pressure on them, where all the pressure's on Lorain right now, and it doesn't look like they've handled it too well thus far.
4th and a yard. Williamson out of the shotgun. Will they fake? Will they kick out of this? Will they go for it? Line of scrimmage is the Midi 43. They're going to go. They run Williamson straight up the middle, and I don't know. It's awfully close. They've marked him at about the 42. This is going to be a very close spot. Lorain says first down. Midview says first down other way. We're going to have a measurement.
And I don't know what.
Well, I'm going to make my first guess of the season. I think they're just short.
They appear short from up here. That offensive line for Lorain didn't get a very good push against Midview at all. That's one of those ones where you wish your quarterback would, tuck and go one to the other side, because he had lanes open on either side enough to get the first down. He wasn't going to break free or anything, but
2014 Ohio State Buckeye season opener tomorrow afternoon in Baltimore, Maryland. They're going to take on the Navy Midshipmen. Ohio State and Navy kicking off at noon. Pregame at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow on AM 930 WEOL. And they are just short. Midview takes over. 1st and 10 Middies as they hold them short. How about those 47-year-old eyes of mine saying they were just short?
You were absolutely correct. It's a good thing that lens popped out in your glasses before the game so you could check and make sure it was all right.
Thanks, Matt. 1st and 10 Midview, and they'll have it at their own 42. Boy, and you wonder how this game would be different right now if Lorain scores that first touchdown. But that's football. They fumbled the ball, had a great drive on their opening drive, got all the way down to the 5, 1st and goal from the 5, and they fumble on the exchange, and it has been all Midview since.
And that's what hurts you, is the turnovers, because it can take your game from the high level that you're at to just put you in a sour mood, and you feel like you can't get anything going the rest of the game, and that appears to what happened to the Titans tonight.
Lorain's got to play some defense, though, at some point tonight if they want to stay in the ball game. Or else that fumble doesn't mean anything if they don't play any defense. Throw out in the flat, it's going to be complete, and up to the 49-yard line for Midview, it's Dimitri Redwood. Dimitri Redwood, 6'2", 180-pound junior. Gets it out to the 49. It'll be 2nd and 3. 11 and a half minutes to go until halftime. Midview 14, Lorain nothing. Glad you could join us on WEOL.com, stream number 2. In motion goes Mahone. He'll get it on the jet sweep. He is brought down behind the line of scrimmage, and one of the Titans is Andres Torres, the junior nose man. WEOL football games online this year at WEOL.com. They're sponsored by the University of Toledo. Discover experiential learning at the University of Toledo. They're just 2 hours from the Metro Cleveland area, and we welcome the University of Toledo as our streaming sponsor this year. 3rd and 5. Out of the shotgun, Zupancic stands next to Logan Bolin, who's the quarterback for the first time tonight, and he is in for Crum for the first time, and a timeout for Midview.
Ian Ralston was a combat medic who was injured in Iraq. When I met Ian, I knew we had to help him get his housing grant, an auto grant, and every benefit to live as normal a life as possible. And we did.
PVA has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get the care and benefits they've earned.
My name is Jason Stevenson, and I work for Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Paralyzed Veterans of America, changing lives, building futures.
The offensive line for Midview, we thought it would be a key coming in. Up front, they go 347, 264, 234, 300, and 367 pounds. That is a huge offensive line in high school football. And we had a Titan go off sides, and that's going to give Midview a first down.
And that's exactly what you didn't want if you were Lorain. I mean, I know you're antsy to get in there and stop Midview from getting the first down, but you don't want to just give them the first down, at least make them earn it.
And they get a first down on that.
And it looks like Midview might have brought in new quarterback.
Yeah, they did. Logan Bolin. We mentioned that a little bit earlier. Bolin is the quarterback in for the first time for Crum. So DJ Shaw said he would play too, and he has done that. Handoff Zupancic. Zupancic dives ahead, gets to the 45. A gain of 3 over the left side. But that huge offensive line, I think, has been the difference so far. Abahazi, 347 pounds. Timmy Rader, 264. Tyler Strebel, the center, he's the little guy, 234 pounds. And on the right side, Hassman, 300-pound senior, and Devin Smith, the right tackle, 367 pounds. And they have kept pressure off of the Midview backfield.
They have. It's almost like Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Back to throw, Logan Bolin. He is looking to run. Now he's being pressured and he's sacked. First time there's been pressure tonight from Lorain, and that was Kenneth Washington shooting in, a junior defensive end. Kenneth Washington did a great job of shooting in and getting the sack, and it's 3rd and a mile.
And that's one time Lorain got pressure. The offensive line was out there. It just took too long to throw the ball, and by the time he tried to cut back across the field, there was nothing there for him except for Lorain defenders.
3rd and 17. Out of the shotgun. Bolin back to throw. Fake short. Wants to go long. Has time. Throws one out there. It's floating, and that it goes up. Did he make the catch? I don't think so. I think it was dropped. Great defense by Aaron Neal on the intended receiver, Dante Redwood. They don't come up with it on the jump ball. It'll be 4th and long, and the Middies will be forced to punt for the first time tonight.
And Redwood had that. He came down with it, but it was great defense, like you said, by Aaron Neal. Stripped the ball right out before he had control all the way to the ground. Otherwise, that would have been a first down for the Middies.
Dustin Crum to punt. So interesting that each team's punter is also the starting quarterback.
Gives you an option there on 4th down.
It does. Fourth and 17. Crum the punt. Good snap back. Crum gets off a good kick. It is going to go away from Neal, and it will bounce at the 20-yard line and out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. They're going to say it went out at the 25. So Lorain will take over 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. We've got 9:09 to go in the first half.
It's a 30-yard punt by Dustin Crum.
Tomorrow night on AM 930 WEOL, we have Indians baseball, the Tribe in Kansas City. Huge series, 3-game series begins tonight in about a half hour in Kansas City. Game 2 tomorrow on AM 930 WEOL, 6:37 pregame. Tom Hamilton, Jim Rosenhaus, Indians Radio Network. First pitch at 7:05 tomorrow night on AM 930 WEOL. 1st and 10, Titans at their own 25. Williamson turns, hands it off to Saunders. Saunders over the right side, stopped after a gain of 1. It'll be 2nd and 9. Great job by the defensive front for Midview.
I'm impressed by the front 7 for the Midview Middies tonight. They've done an impressive job of keeping Lorain's running game inside of the tackles. They haven't really let them get to the outside too much, and that's what you got to do.
2nd and 9. Williamson rolls to his right. He is going to stop and throw. It is caught by Chavez. He has a first down across the 35 out to the 40-yard line. Nice gain of about 15 yards, 14 yards for the Titans. They get a very important first down. And let's see if the Titans can get a drive here, get something going positively like they did in their first drive. It would be huge if they could get a score here and bring it to within 1. 8.5 minutes to play in the first half. Titans trail 14-0. Williamson fakes it to the outside, keeps it, runs straight ahead, gets 3. Boy, that Midview defense, you can tell they are keying on number 1 of Lorain. That is quarterback Eddie Williamson.
They sure are, and as he goes, the rest of the team goes.
Number 74, Andrew Wheeler. 2nd and 8 for the Titans.
So it'll be 2nd and 7 for the Titans from their own 43. They've got to get to midfield for a first down. And we got a whistle and a penalty flag. Procedure against the Titans will cost them 5 yards.
And you would think you'd see a little bit more passing plays from the Lorain Titans this evening, because it looks like Midview is figured out they're going to run the ball, and they're playing man coverage on the outside. So if you can get a guy to beat him, he's going to have nothing but green grass in front of him with a good pass.
Once again, WEOL this year, 3 games on WEOL.com, 1 on the radio, our radio game tonight. Tim Alcorn and company with Avon at Avon Lake. Medina County matchup with Z Zoltai is going to be Brunswick at Medina. And those are the games on Stream 1 and Stream 3. Hand off to Saunders at the 40-yard line. They'll get 2 of them back. It'll be 3rd and 10. So if you're looking for Avon at Avon Lake, you can hear it on AM 930 WEOL or WEOL.com, stream number 1. If you want to hear Z and get Brunswick and Medina, that's on WEOL.com, stream number 3. And here is Craig Couch. Craig?
All right, guys, down here on the Midview sideline, trainers taking a look, of course, at Brett Supancic, trying to work out, it looks like, a leg cramp. And he's a big part of the Middy offense, of course, carries the football, but also a big part of their defense at the inside linebacker position.
Williamson with the throw, gets a first down as he gets it out to Perry Mincy, so a big 3rd and 10 conversion, a gain of 15, and thanks to Craig Couch for that update on Supancic. Hopefully he'll be all right and back in the game. That last sideline report from Craig Couch is brought to you, as they all are all season, by Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. Keeping the game. For decades, your athletic injuries have been treated at Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. 1st and 10 from the Midview 45. Titans, 7:03 to go in the first half, trailing 14-0. Fake handoff up the middle. They're going to pitch it to the outside. Dontravius Hawthorne to the 30, 25-20. Dontravius to the 15, all the way down to the 13-yard line. 1st and 10 after a run of 32 yards. Dontravius Hawthorne.
And that's what you needed, the big break right there. Looked like he was going to possibly score on that, but Midview defenders made a great play, came up, made the open field tackle, and took him down to prevent him from getting in. Now if you're Lorain, you're saying hold on to the ball down here.
And they get 30 yards down to the 15. 1st and 10 from the Middy 15. 2nd time to the red zone for the Titans. They fumbled on their first opportunity in the red zone. Williamson hands it off to Hawthorne. Hawthorne over the left side. Hawthorne with a couple of tough yards. Not much room to run behind the left side of the line. Gets down to about the 12. A couple of middies on the stop. One of them was Dalton Holtzman, and we've got a Midview middy that is shaken up. Trying to get up and unable to. One of the middies out there.
It looks like Cole Franks, the senior.
Remember the TD Club.
And they're taking a look at Cole. Stops the clock with 6:22 to go in the first half. Want to remind you, tomorrow morning, Nick Abraham Sports Wrap-Up Show. It's back. Tim Alcorn, Z Zoltai, Cam, Doc Brown from the studios of AM 930 WEOL. It's the Nick Abraham All-to-All Sports Wrap-Up Show tomorrow morning from 9 to 10:30 on AM 930 WEOL and WEOL.com. You get all the scores, all the highlights from the 3 games that WEOL broadcasts on Friday night. You'll get other coaches. You'll hear that and interviews and a whole lot more. The Nick Abraham All-to-All Sports Wrap-Up Show tomorrow morning, 9 to 10:30. Let's go down to the sidelines, and here's Craig Couch.
Guys, down here at about the 10-yard line, Cole Franks on the turf for the Midview Middies. He was in on that last play. Didn't make the tackle, but was in on it, and it looked like he rolled his ankle as he was coming into the pile. And again, that's his right ankle. He's going to be helped off the field.
All right, hopefully Cole will be all right. Thanks to Craig Couch for that update. That sideline report from Craig brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. Preparation, it's the key to winning. It's the key to staying healthy. Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. Second and 7 from the 12-yard line. Lorain driving deep in Midview territory. Williamson out of the shotgun, has Hawthorne next to him. 3 receivers on the far side. High snap, goes over Williamson's head. He goes back to grab it. He is going to tuck it under and run and be brought down for a 5-yard loss. Zapancic, along with Kyle Troutman in on the stop, a loss of 5, and Lorain hikes it over Williamson's head for the first time tonight.
And Williamson goes up to his center and says, come on, man.
Yep.
We came down here once before, fumbled the ball. We don't need this right now. He should have thrown the ball to the back of the end zone.
3rd and 12 from the 18. Williamson hands it off to Chavez on the inside play. Gets inside the 15. He'll be down at the 15. It's going to be 4th down and about 10. I would think Lorain would go. 5.5 minutes to go first half. 4th and 10 from the Midview 15. Let's see what Williamson on the offense can do. 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. Hawthorne, the single setback, stands next to Eddie Williamson. Williamson rolling to his right. He's going to roll to the outside. He's going to throw. Has a man. It's caught. Chavez, did he get the first down? He did, inside the 5 all the way down to about the 2. Heck of a play right there from Williamson to Chavez. They convert on 4th and 10. Let's go down to Craig.
Boy, guys, I'm really impressed with Eddie Williamson. You know, he does a tremendous job of keeping his cool. A number of times tonight he's been under pressure. And just for example, a couple plays ago, the snap over his head, kept his composure, went and recovered it. And, man, this guy can really sell the option.
1st and goal from the 1. They convert on 4th and 10. Saunders and Neal are out there. Hand off to Saunders. Saunders over the left side. Sherman Saunders dives forward. Did he get in? He did. From 1 yard out, Sherman Saunders with their first score for Lorain in 2014. 5:01 to go in the first half, and the Titans are within a score.
That was a great run off the left side. Sherman Saunders tucked his head, got the ball from Williamson, tucked his head, dove for the goal line, knew right where it was. Midview made a nice play on it, but not enough to stop him. It's hard to stop a team when you're on the 1 yard line.
How about Lorain converting on 4th and 10 from the Midview 15 to keep the drive alive, and then they get the touchdown. And they had 3rd and 12 all the way back at the 18, and yet they found a way to convert. That's impressive for a team that was trailing 14-0 and had already fumbled in the red zone. They're going to go for 2. Williamson in the shotgun as he's been all night, has Hawthorne next to him. Hawthorne will fake the handoff. Williamson keeps it. He's going to pitch to Saunders at the end, and Saunders got in. Saunders gets in for 2.
2-point conversion is successful.
Williamson faked the handoff to Hawthorne, went to the outside, pitched it at the very last moment to Saunders, and Saunders just got inside the pylon. 2-point conversion. And just like that, guys, the Titans are back in it. It's Midview 14, Lorain 8. That's a huge drive to give this team some confidence with 5:01 to go in the first half.
It is, and it took some time off the clock, giving that Lorain defense a little bit of rest on the sidelines. Hopefully they can come out now and hold this Midview Midi team to maybe a 3-and-out or only a couple of series, not let them get any points on the board, and let Lorain's offense come back on the field, because Midview is going to get the ball here in the second half. So Lorain wants to stop this offense from scoring here so they can get back out, put some points on the board. Hopefully slow enough so it's at the end of the quarter so Midview can't score again, and we'll have a tie ball game at the half.
Saunders will tee it up. Lorain is going to kick off. 5:01 to go in the half. Midview leads 14-8. Sherman Saunders to kick off. Dante Redwood, Logan Bolin back deep for the Midview Middies. This will be the first kickoff for Lorain in 2014. Saunders, who just scored the touchdown and a 2-point conversion with a kick, and it is picked up at the 20-yard line, out to the 25, diving forward to the 27-yard line. On the return, Zach Nash. So Midview gets it at their own 27, 4:57 to go in the first half. And the Titans are back in this ball game, trailing 14-8. That last touchdown gives $15 in the Points with Charity, sponsored by Mike Bass Ford at I-90 in Detroit. A great deal and a great deal more. WEOL proud to partner with Mike Bass Ford to raise money for the United Way of Greater Lorain County. So far tonight, $60 in the Points for Charity. First and 10, Middies at their own 27. Snap back to Crum, who's back in a quarterback off his hand. He went back to grab it, and he's going to get decked. It's a sack. A long way to go in reverse. Kenneth Washington with the sack as they went off the hands of Devin Crum, and then went south from that point for Midview. And a great job that time by Washington to go get it. I'll get to Craig Couch after this play. 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. It's going to be second and long. And now let's see what Lorain does defensively. Will they crank it up and try to put some more pressure on the Middies? Second and long for Midview. Crum back to throw. Deep at his own end. Fires over the middle. It's going to be intercepted. Intercepted by the Lorain Titans. We've got a penalty flag. It's going to be on the block on the return. This will be Lorain Titan football. And that interception by Aaron Huff. Huff with the interception. That one was underthrown. Let's go down to the sidelines and Craig Couch. Craig.
All right, guys, down here on the sidelines, I tell you what, that touchdown for Lorain was just huge in so many ways. You really got the sense down here that they needed to score, if for nothing else, their own confidence. And now you see the sideline over there. The Titans sideline, that is fired up. The players are playing with energy that they haven't had since the first drive. And now a turnover. This could be a huge possession for the Lorain Titans as we get closer to halftime.
So it's a legal block on Lorain, but the Titans get it. That turnover means another $15 in the Points for Charity, sponsored by Mike Bass Ford. WEOL, again, partnering with Mike Bass Ford to raise money for the United Way of Greater Lorain County. First and 10 from the 43. Titans within 6, 4:03 to go in the half. They have great field position, even with the illegal block. Still have it at the Midview 43-yard line. Williamson hands off Saunders up the middle, nowhere to run. He'll lose a yard. Jordan Shevel, 6'1", 260-pound junior defensive lineman on the stop.
And I don't understand why Lorain just keeps trying to run up the middle. Early, their first drive, they were running the ball outside, they were running the ball inside. They kept Midview's defense honest, and now they're just running up the middle every time, and it's not working for them.
Second and 10. And a fake handoff to Chavez. Williamson now is going to pitch it at the last minute to Don Travius Hawthorne. They try to run it outside. It gets snuffed out. I'll tell you, a guy having a heck of a game is middle linebacker Kyle Troutman. 5'10", 179-pound senior, another tackle for Midview. Troutman's been all over the field. They're running the ball because they know you've got to go to Marblehead. They don't want to hold you up.
Oh, I appreciate it, but you know what? If you want to win the football game, there we go.
Williamson rolling to his right. Steps up, throws. It is going to be complete. It is complete at the 37-yard line. On the reception, it's going to be Dejon Brown.
And I don't know if that was a complete pass. That looked like he trapped it.
No. You know the best thing about high school football?
No replay.
Thank you.
Williamson's pass was intended.
But the officials can get over, talk it over, and they are going to say that that is an incomplete pass. So they're going to say incomplete after the officials talk. 4th and 12 after they move it back. 2:49 to go first half. 14-8, Midview leading, and they hold Lorain. After that interception, how big was the illegal block that cost Lorain 15 yards? I mean, if they have a 1st and 10 from the Midview 28 instead of the Midview 43, maybe it's different. Short kick by Williamson. It is fair catch called for and taken at the 20-yard line, and that's where Midview will take it 1st and 10. So the Middies get it 1st and 10. Next week, week number 2, high school football. We will have for you our WEOL.com stream number 2 game. It'll be South Central, the South Central Trojans out of the Firelands Conference. They're going to make their way to Columbia to take on Columbia. Next week on AM 930 WEOL and WEOL.com stream number 1, it'll be Lorain at Elyria. In the Medina County matchup next week, it's Eastlake North at Medina. That's the lineup for week number 2 next Friday night. Handoff over the left side to Zapancic across the 25 to the 30. Out to the 35, penalty flag as he gets to the 40-yard line. See where they mark it after the penalty. But Zapancic was hurt earlier in the game. Good to see him back out there.
Zapancic, the ball carrier, flag on the play.
And it still amazes me. A kid with that size, and he's able to just take off and go. He's elusive, he's quick, and he'll run you over. I know if you're a DB, you don't want to be the guy getting in his way.
They move it all the way back inside the 25 to the 23-yard line, so it's just going to be a 3-yard gain now after the holding on Midview, and it's a spot foul, so from the spot of the infraction, they move it back. 1st and 7. 2.5 minutes to play. Back to throw. Rolling to his right. Devin Crum looking. He's going to tuck it under and run. Devin Crum, the sophomore, across the 30 out to the 35. Drags Titans out to about the 40-yard line, and he's going to get a 1st down. That's a nice decision by the sophomore quarterback, Devin Crum. Crum did a great job there that time deciding to tuck it under and run. He did a pretty good job running, got a 1st down, Matt.
He sure did, and that's what you want to see out of your quarterback. Don't throw it somewhere where there's a chance it could get intercepted. It's always better you throw it out of bounds or take off and get some positive yards, and he turned that play around, got him a 1st down.
1st and 10. Back to throw. Crum fakes short. Now he's going to roll to his left. He can run or throw. He's going to tuck it under and run. Gets out to the 40-yard line, tripped up at the 42. And the man making the stop is the young man who had the interception earlier, Aaron Huff. Huff, a sophomore linebacker.
And just nowhere to go there for Crum as he got outside of the pocket. He was looking downfield. That's the other good thing about him. He's always looking down the field to see what's open until he gets to the line. And once he knows he's going to run, he takes off down the field. He never takes his eyes off his receivers, though, down the field in case they open up. A lot of kids will just tuck their head and go.
2nd and 8. Handoff straight up the gut across the 45 out to midfield. Getting a 1st down for the Midview Middies. A young man getting his 1st carry of the night, and that's Alec Ford. Ford, a 5'8", 168-pound sophomore. His 1st carry for a 1st down to the Lorain 48-yard line. Minute 25 to go, 1st half. Stay tuned. Craig Couch will get an interview with one of the coaches going into halftime. Out of the shotgun, they're going to throw out in the flat. It is complete. Short gain of about 3. I'm looking at is Logan Bolin on the receiving end. And making the stop is Perry Mincy. Timeout Midview. Timeout Midview with 1:09 to go in the 1st half.
And if you're Midview, this is right where you want to be. About a minute left in the quarter. Drive down the field, hopefully put some points on the board, and then get the ball back in the 2nd half. Probably going to talk about it, maybe script a few plays that they're going to go with here after this timeout. This way they don't have to waste time in a huddle. They can say, hey, we're going to run this, this, and this. Hopefully it gets you enough down to the field. And Lorain, if you're Lorain, you have to stop them here. You can't let any points on the board. You surely can't let a touchdown on the board, but you'd really like to not get any points on the board. You hope Midview makes a mistake, maybe throws the ball right to you or fumbles the ball and you can get it back. But we'll see what happens as they come out of the timeout here.
Midview has 1 timeout remaining. There's 1:09 to go in the 1st half. Middies lead it 14-8. 2nd and 8. Three receivers to the near side. Crum rolls right. Fakes the inside throw, and he is almost brought down, but breaks the tackle of Rashad Berry Now rolls to his left, throws, has a man at the 40, at the 35. Oh, what a chop by Devin Crum. How did he get away from Rashad Berry? I don't know. He found Dimitri Redwood for a first down. And they go out of bounds to stop the clock with 57 seconds, and they have one timeout remaining.
15-yard gain, 1st and 10. Midview.
Boy, how big is this final minute going to be?
That was huge, and actually Lorain's own guy was the one who blocked him and stopped him from bringing Crum down to the ground.
Back to throw is Crum. Steps up, being pressured. He is going to run, and he stays in bounds, gets to the 25, and they're going to take their final timeout with 49 seconds to go in the half. They take their final timeout. 2nd and 4.
Bring up 2nd and 4. It's a timeout, Midview.
And Crum, for being a sophomore and a relatively big boy, he's pretty elusive as they're playing here on offense. You should see this kid. It's amazing. His eyes are always down the field, but he knows when he's got the pressure and takes off. And then at the last second, when you think he's going to run, he throws the pass, he dumps it off, always for a positive game. It's really impressive to see a sophomore kid in high school who's able to do that.
49 seconds to go in the first half. 2nd and 4 from the 25. And Midview leads it 14-8. They don't have any timeouts remaining. Now, clock management is hard enough at the professional level, let alone at the high school level, week 1. It'll be interesting to see what Midview does. They have no timeouts remaining. You can stop the clock a couple ways. Get out of bounds or an incomplete pass. Now, they do have a couple of soccer players, so one would think they might be able to kick a fairly long field goal. But we'll wait and see here. It's 2nd and 3 from the 25 of Lorain.
Crum's done a good job so far, so I mean you gotta trust him at this point that he knows what he's doing, and hopefully he's smart enough to just throw the ball away if nothing's there, or get out of bounds.
First down, of course, stops the clock as well until they set the chains. 2nd and short, quarterback draw. He's going to run for the first down, gets tripped up. I don't know if he got it. If he gets it, it stops the clock. If not, they'll keep the clock running. I think it's 3rd and short.
Crum on the quarterback draw, knocked down by Aaron McDowell.
3rd and short, clock runs.
4 for the Middies.
3rd and 1, 30 seconds to go. Crum back to throw, fires, and it is going to be caught at the 10 and getting out of bounds inside the 10-yard line is Bolin.
3rd and 1. Crum's pass was complete to number 13, Logan Bolin.
26 seconds to go in the half.
It's a first down, Middies. Gain of 12.
First and goal from the 9, or from the 7, I should say. 7-yard line, line of scrimmage, 26 seconds to go in the half. 14-8 Midview. No timeouts for the Middies. They've got time here. If they don't get in the end zone, they can clock the ball. They can line up and spike it. They're going to line up with 4 wideouts, and Zapancic is going to be next to Crum. Crum back to throw with time. Now being pressured, and now he's going to be sacked. Now they're in trouble. On the sack, that was Naz Bohannon. Clock running. 12 seconds to go. They got to line up and spike it. And Crum will spike it with 8.9 seconds to go. It'll be 3rd and goal. And now one would think Midview would have to kick a field goal because it's 3rd and goal. So if you get stopped before the end zone, you cannot clock it because it would be 4th down.
I think
and then he would turn it over on downs.
This might be one where you put your quarterback out there and go, you've got 5 seconds, get rid of it regardless.
You're at the 9-yard line. If you kick a field goal, I don't know their kicking game, but if you kick a field goal and make it, you're up 2 scores. You're in the middle of the field, the line of scrimmage is the 9. It's 5 yards longer than a field goal, or an extra point, I mean. Now again, I don't know their kicking game. I know they've got a couple soccer players. They're going to go for it. 3rd and goal. Crum fakes the handoff, back to throw, fires in the flat. It is incomplete, overthrows his intended receiver. 4th and goal with 3.9 to go. But I'll tell you what, he gets sacked there, and that's the end of the half.
Yep, it sure is. I like the decision by Coach Shaw. Letting the quarterback go out there and make a quick decision, get rid of the ball with some time left on the clock, your 4th down.
Kellen McGuire to attempt the extra field goal. It'll be a 26-yarder, 3.9 seconds to go in the half. Out of the hole to Logan Bolin. McGuire, a right-footed kicker. His first field goal attempt of the year. Bolin with the hold. They get it down. The kick is up. Plenty of leg, and the kick is good. McGuire's kick is good with 2.4 seconds to go in the half. And with that, the Middies take that 2-score lead, and that is big.
That's huge going into half because you're getting the ball back right at the after halftime too.
So McGuire, 26-yard field goal, and it's 17-8 Midview. And as soon as this half is over, Craig Couch is going to have a conversation with DJ Shaw, and I'm sure DJ will be a little bit happier after that made field goal.
You have to be.
Remember, the cheerleaders are out.
So that field goal means $10 and the points for charity. Sponsored by Mike Bass Ford at I-90 in Detroit. A great deal and a great deal more. WEOL partnering once again in 2014 with Mike Bass Ford to raise money all through the high school football season for the United Way of Greater Lorain County. So that $10 for that made field goal means in the first half of this ball game, we've already have $85 going to the points for charity to the United Way of Greater Lorain County. McGuire to kick off, 2.4 seconds to go in a half. This should do it for the first half. McGuire gets his right foot into it. It's going to come down. Mincy picks it up inside the 10. Mincy out to the 15-yard line looking for a hole, gets to the 20. Mincy out to the 25, and that's going to do it for the first half.
Inspiring city and campus. Inspiring people. Inspiring creativity. Inspiring hands-on learning. Inspiring global experiences. Inspiring traditions. Be a Buckeye. Inspire.
tonight's performance with Macklemore's Can't Hold Us.
Can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Okay, guys, down here on the field with head coach Dave McFarland. And, Coach, real quick, how do you feel about the way your team played in the first half?
Well, we make too many mistakes. It's my worst nightmare. We come in and we make mistakes because we've got to grow up and learn not to make mistakes. We can be a good football team, but not by making mistakes. So we've got to really work on coming out and being focused on doing little things right. And if we can take care of the ball, we got a chance to get back in this.
You put together a very good opening drive, Coach. Couldn't punch it in, fumbled on about the 6-yard line or so, but then later in the game did punch it in about halfway through the second quarter. Here at halftime, it's 17-8. If the Titans are to come out of this victorious, they're going to need to, obviously, like you said, take care of the ball a little bit better in the second half. But what else do you want to see your team do here in the second half?
We got to believe in ourselves. It's that simple. We're not making plays, and great teams make plays. So we've got to have confidence that we can make plays on offense and defense.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. Good luck in the second half.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, it's for a nicer day, huh?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Gonna get some big ones. Anybody want to wear a life jacket?
I'm good.
No life jacket? That's a deal breaker.
Daddy, you promised.
Daniel Stevens.
Yeah, give me one of those life jackets.
This message brought to you by the National Safe Boating Council and the women who nag you. Love you.
Sherman Saunders to kick off for the Titans. And Midview leads 17-8. Third quarter, always big first drive for each team. And Lorain's going to try to get the momentum back. If they're going to do that, it's going to start with defense. Saunders with a short squib kick. It is covered by the Titans. I wouldn't say it was an onside kick. I just think it was a squib kick that the Midview Middies covered at their own 45.
That's exactly what it looked like because he kicked it way too hard with no bounce for that to be an onside kick, and it just happened to go right to the Midview offense or the Midview player.
Taking a quick look at the starting lineups again to start the second half. Quarterback is Crum. The running back is Zapancic. Receivers, they rotate them. Mahone, Bolin, Franks, Redwood. Up front, Abahazi, Raider on the left side. Strebel's the center. Haspin and Smith on the right side. First and 10, handoff to Zapancic. Breaks one tackle, shakes another one at midfield. Dragon Titans all the way down to the 43-yard line, a gain of 12. For Lorain, defensively, Washington, Bohannon are the ends. The noses are Torres and Vasquez. Linebackers, Berry and Orsler on the outside, Jeffries and Huff on the inside. And in the secondary, Davis, Mincy, Diggs. They rotate two of those three corners. McGeegan and Neal are the safeties.
And don't be surprised if you're Lorain if you get a heavy dose of Zapancic here in the second half.
Yep, there's another handoff to him. He'll get to the 40, a gain of 3. He is brought down by Rashad Berry. 2nd and 7.
He's been quiet this game, Rashad Berry.
Yep.
The big senior for the Lorain Titans, and you haven't heard his number called at all very much today.
Well, I don't think Midview has run at him very often, number one. And number two, they're doing a good job of blocking him. I mean, on that right side, Devin Smith is a 367-pound right tackle. Shotgun. Crum takes it. Back to throw. Stepping up. He's going to run, and he is met at the line of scrimmage and hit hard by a host of Titans. No gain. 3rd and 7.
Well, that's what you want if you're Lorain. They were letting him escape the pocket before in the first half. This is exactly what this defense needed, a little confidence booster. Now if you can just get the stop here on 3rd down.
Again, our ball game tonight, our audio being used by Joe Bach and WLCS TV 20. Joe is here videoing this game. It's going to be on WLCS TV 20 throughout next week on Time Warner Cable. They're also on YouTube at Lorain Schools TV 20. You can follow them on Twitter at LCS_TV20. Check out Lorain Schools TV 20 on Facebook for all your entertainment and informational needs. Handoff to Zapancic. Zapancic is brought down at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10, and on the stop, Robert Orsler. And Brunswick leading Medina 27-0 in our Medina County matchup, that ball game at halftime. Brunswick over Medina 27-0 at halftime. Thanks to Dave Rydell for letting us know that. So 4th and 10, or 4th and 7 from the Lorain 40, and it looks like the Titans are going to go. Don't forget Crum's the punter. He might punt this. He's going to go back. He's going to run a play. He is going to be sacked. He'll lose 3 yards, and the Titans will get it 1st and 10, and here comes a late flag. Oh, they're going to get a late hit. And Midview's going to keep possession. Unbelievable.
Huge mistake.
Robert Orsler had him, and then a player came in and got a late hit. And this is going to go against the Titans and cost them a first down.
Not needed. Not needed. You're killing yourself there. You were going to get off the field.
Personal foul, roughing the passer is the call on the Titans.
Elyria and Fremont Ross, no score at halftime. Thanks again to Dave Rydell, and let's send it down to Craig Couch. Craig?
All right, guys, down here on the Lorain sideline, I tell you what, they're really amped up over here. The Titans coming out of the halftime locker room with a real sense of purpose, it seems. They definitely want to be the team that lands the first jab, so to speak, here in the early going of the second half. This could be a big defensive stop for the Titans. They are, again, really fired up over here. The rally cry that we've heard from the coaches has been "Show me heart." They came out of the locker room screaming it to the kids. The kids are screaming it back and forth to each other. "Show me heart."
Well, what they did right there was a personal foul, and that gives Midview a first down. Lorain would have taken over 1st and 10. Now we're going to have to see if they can show that heart that Craig Couch just talked about, because that's a big play that went against Lorain. And quite frankly, that was one of those real borderline calls. I mean, you don't have to make that call. Dave McFarland out talking with the official, and that was a very borderline call. I mean, it wasn't a blatant late hit. The sack was made. A second young man came in, made the tackle with them. To be honest, I thought they could have let it go. I didn't think it was a blatant, obvious late hit. I think his momentum was just going with him. He wasn't down that long. Call went against him. I mean, but to me, that's one where the officials could have swallowed the whistle a little bit. Just my 2 cents.
I agree with you. One coach is going to be mad regardless of the outcome. So we'll see what happens when they sort things out here.
Joe Bach, the producer from TV20, saying Dave McFarland's argument. So that's a post-possession foul because it was 4th down. And if you're going to make that penalty, then it's still got to be Lorain ball, because the change of possession gives Lorain the football. But I don't think they're going to win that argument. I just don't think the call should have been made. That's just my own opinion. But,
nope.
But I think if you're going to make that call, then it's going to be Midview football. I don't see Lorain winning that argument. We'll see. Officials taking a long time to talk it over.
And this is why we started the game early tonight.
Again, they kicked off tonight's game at 6:54. Good thing we were up here ready to go.
Absolutely.
Oh, Dave Rydell had us rocking and rolling early. Usually we're sweating until 7 o'clock. But no, Dave Rydell had us in good shape. And Midview's going to keep it. Dave McFarland's going to get an explanation. He's not going to like it. But the ball will stay with Midview. So that late hit penalty is huge. It was 4th down. Lorain would have taken over on downs, but the late hit keeps the drive alive, and Midview will have it 1st and 10 at the Lorain 28. 9:35 to go, 3rd quarter. Midview up 17-8. I get Dave's point, but you're not going to win that argument. Because the play wasn't dead. I mean, it was. But that's to my point where I didn't think the hit was late enough to warrant a penalty.
No, not at all.
1st and 10, Midview at the Lorain 28-yard line. And Crum and the offense back on the field. And Lorain needs a stop here in the worst way. Out of the shotgun, Devin Crum gets a high snap, brings it down, looks to throw the screen, throws it in the flat, it's incomplete. And on the stop for the Lorain Titans, breaking that up it's going to be Sterling Jeffries. Second and 10.
And Lorain's getting great pressure on the Midview quarterback here, making him throw the ball early before he wants to, making him tuck the ball down, sacking him. See if they can get a stop here.
Second and 10. 3 receivers to the near side, and the handoff is going to go Zapancic. Zapancic will get down to the 23. Sterling Jeffries and company on the stop. It'll be third and about 6. Again, Ohio State football on AM 930 WEOL tomorrow. Kickoff at noon. Our pregame gets underway at 10:30. The Buckeyes on the road to begin the 2014 season. They're in Baltimore, Maryland to take on the Navy Midshipmen. Ohio State football on your home of the Buckeyes, AM 930 WEOL. Third and 6. Handoff Zapancic. Zapancic breaks the tackle at the 20, to the 15, to the 10, still on his feet, inside the 10 to the 5, diving forward. He got into the end zone. Touchdown. What a run by Brett Zapancic. A 24-yard touchdown run with 8:45 to go in the third quarter. And Midview takes advantage of the late hit. They keep the drive alive, and they score a huge touchdown to begin the second half.
He was rumbling and bumbling and stumbling, and eventually he got enough momentum and enough guys I think every guy in the Lorain defense tried to bring him down. They just can't. That's a 250-pound kid who runs like he's 160 pounds.
But you got to tackle. They were just bouncing off him. You got to wrap.
It's hard to get your arms around that
I
much.
understand, but rap isn't just something, it's not just a music genre, and it's not something you just do with Christmas presents. You got to tackle players. I know I got to get the play first, Dave. Extra point. We have a penalty flag on the extra point. Let's see what the call is. It's going to be procedure against Midview. They're going to move them back 5. After the extra point, then we'll go down to Craig Couch. But after this extra point attempt, we'll go to Craig for a sideline report. 8:45 to go in the third. Midview leads at 23-8. Now it's going to be a 25-yard field goal attempt by Kellen McGuire. He made a 26-yard field goal in the first half. And we're going to get offsides on Lorain this time.
We'll move it closer.
Yep.
It's like a teeter-totter.
The kick was good, but I don't know if you can decline that or not. I think it was a dead ball as soon as the offsides was called. Coming across, trying to block that kick were the Titans, and they came across a little too quickly. And they'll move it back for the extra point.
It's nothing like some extra point practice, though.
I don't know if I've ever seen 3 extra point attempts before. I know I don't need to see it again. Logan Boland to hold. They get it down, and the third time the kick is up, and it is good. Midview leads 24-8. Let's go down to Craig. Craig?
All right, guys, another hard, punishing run by Brett Zapancic, running back for the Midview Middies. It seems like all of them are, but he goes 5'11", about 250, and hard to bring down. I tell you what, he took a number of shots down here inside the 10-yard line, 3 or 4 of them right along the 5-yard line, but he brushed them off. Matter of fact, at one point, the ball popped out right here at about the 2-yard line. Fortunate for the Middies, it bounced right back into his arms in stride, and he took it into the end zone. It's not that the Lorain defenders aren't getting to Zapancic, it's that they're tackling too high. They're taking shots at him above the waist. A guy like that, you got to go low. You need a shoestring tackle to bring down someone with that size. And right now, Lorain's just not getting down. They're going too high at Zapancic, and he's running them over.
Thank you very much to Craig Couch for that update, and Midview leads it by a score of 24-8. Pretty impressive drive for the Midview Middies, but again, the key play, Matt, was the fact that Lorain got called for the late hit, or they would have turned it over on downs, would have got the ball back.
That is exactly what the problem is. It's just as good as a turnover. A penalty at the right time is the wrong play. Just as good as a turnover. Kills momentum.
So with that touchdown, that means another $15 in the Points for Charity, sponsored by Mike Bass Ford at I-90 in Detroit. A great deal and a great deal more. WEOL is proud to partner with Mike Bass Ford to raise money for the United Way of Greater Lorain County. Kick is taken at the 20-yard line. Out to the 25. Perry Mincy has it. Mincy running to the outside. Mincy across the 30. Mincy to the 35-40. Mincy to the 45. Mincy to midfield. Mincy into Titan territory all the way down to the 40, and a penalty flag comes in.
Yeah, they're either going to get him for a hit after he was out of bounds or for a horse collar.
We shall see. Great return by Perry Mincy for Lorain, as they're going to get the football for the first time this half. And it is going against Midview, so this good return just got better for Lorain. Personal foul, Midview, 15 yards. This drive is going to start just outside the red zone. They are going to be inside the 30 all the way down to the Midview 27-yard line. Boy, Lorain can't ask for a better starting field position than this. They've got to take advantage.
You've got to put points on the board here, and hopefully it's 6 points.
Yep, it's got to be a touchdown. So we'll reset the Lorain offense when we get a moment. Eddie Williamson, the quarterback. He's got Chavez and Hawthorne next to him. Handoff goes to Williamson, fakes the handoff, keeps it. He's at the 20-yard line, a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. Williamson is the quarterback. You've got Saunders, Chavez, Hawthorne at running backs. Sims, Davis, Brown, Mincy, they rotated receiver out of the spread. Up front, Fenn and Mayer. It's Jones at center, LeBoy and Worthy. Sly Worthy is a tackle on this team. Boy, I like that football name. Sly Worthy, offensive tackle, the Lorain Titans. Williamson hands it off, right side, Hawthorne shaking one tackle, dragging Middies inside the 20 down to the 17, very close to a first down. For the Middies defensively, Preston, Shepard, and Chevelle are the front three. Hack, Troutman, Nash, Zipancic are the linebackers in the 3-4. Miller and Redwood are the corners. Bowen and Franks were the starting secondary. 3rd and 1. They were just short of the first down. Williamson fakes the handoff. He's going to throw it out in the flat. It is complete to the 15-yard line, 1st and 10. On the reception, that's Sam McGeegan with his first reception of the year. The junior starts at safety. McGeegan, and he is going to come up shaken up as he limps off the field. Hopefully he'll be all right. 1st and 10 from the 14. Lorain trying to get within 10. Fake handoff to Chavez. Williamson rolling to his left, and he is trying to elude the rush. Now comes to his right. He is in trouble, shakes another tackle, got to get rid of the ball. He is going to run, makes something out of nothing, gets inside the 10. What a job by Eddie Williamson. He was running for his life. He turned a 15-yard sack into a 5-yard plus.
He sure did, and that's exactly what he can do. He can make plays, and you can see he's using his pump fakes a little bit more to keep the defenders honest. Even those little wide receiver screens work to your benefit.
2nd and 5 from the Midview 9. Shotgun snap to Williamson. Hands off on the left side. Hawthorne will get down to about the 5, maybe the 6. 3rd and short. Under 7 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Midview out in front, 24-8. Rob Polinsky, Matt Bean, Craig Couch, live from Midview High School. Handoff Chavez over the right side. Chavez will get the first down inside the 5, down to about the 3. 1st and goal to goal for the for the Lorain Titans.
And it looked like Chavez might have tripped on one of his linemen there. Otherwise, there's a chance he could have scored.
Williamson, a high snap. He runs it down, rolls out to his right. He can run or throw. In some trouble. He's going to dive for the pylon, and he's just shy. Oh, my. Eddie Williamson went up high and was hit at about the 1. Holy smokes.
And those bad snaps down there are killing them, because then Williamson's got to make something out of nothing.
2nd and goal from the 1. Well, when you're in the shotgun all night, sometimes bad things happen. I mean, you can get a bad snap anytime. And Lorain needs a timeout. Titans need a timeout as they had a lot of confusion. Got an update from Kansas City. The Indians in Kansas City, big battle. They're in the middle of the 2nd inning. The Indians leading 1-0. Again, Indians baseball tomorrow and Sunday night, both on AM 930 WEOL. 7:30 or a 7:05 start tomorrow night, 8:05 Sunday night. Indians baseball, the Indians and the Royals tomorrow and Sunday on AM 930 WEOL. Big play here, second and goal from the 1. Avon leads Avon Lake 31-7. Our game that's heard live on AM 930 WEOL and WEOL.com.
I mean, unless they don't practice it, this is where I'd put Williamson under center and just push.
Yeah, I don't think they practice it because we didn't see it when they were down here earlier.
Nope.
Chavez and Neal are the running backs on either side of Williamson. Rashad Berry comes in motion. Williamson turns, hands it off to Neal. He'll dive over the left side for a touchdown. Aaron Neal with a 1-yard touchdown run, his first touchdown of the 2014. And with 6:24 to go in the third quarter, the Titans are back in the ball game. They trail at 24-14, and they're a 2-point conversion away from being within one score.
Yeah, it was a great run there by Neal. He just took the ball from Williamson, put his head down, and he was going to run through anything, even if it was a brick wall.
Titans will go for 2. Down by 10. They're going to try to make it an 8-point game, and this would be a 1-score game. 4 receivers in the lineup. Fake handoff. Williamson's going to keep it. Dives forward. I don't think he got there. He did not. He stopped short. Williamson was stopped short. Great job by the Midview defense, stopping Williamson short. And it's 24-14 with 6:24 to go in the third quarter. Let's take a timeout. You're listening to the WEOL Colson and Colson Gridiron Clash. We're streaming live, Matt,
on WEOL.com.
I was the first woman ever to deploy on a Strategic Air Command deployment.
You didn't just serve your country.
I lobbied for women to be on board submarines.
You paved the way for others.
I joined the Army because I wanted a challenge.
And the challenges you face now? Your VA delivers a variety of benefits. Learn more, including how to apply online using e-benefits.
No matter what time it is, you've earned them. Apply today.
The Midview Middies on top 24-14. At 1-yard run by Aaron Neal. That is the 5th touchdown of this football game. And our points for charity, another $15. Sponsored by Mike Bass Ford at I-90 in Detroit. A great deal and a great deal more. WEOL proud to partner with Mike Bass Ford to raise money for United Way of Greater Lorain County. Saunders to kick it off. Kick is taken at the 15-yard line. Straight ahead to the 20, out to the 25, spinning and being down at the 27 is the Midi return team.
Well, here's where Midview's got to come out and their offense has got to take the ball and go down the field, because so far in the second half they haven't done a great job offensively of getting down the field. And that's not because they haven't been able to do it. It's just Lorain's defense has been too much for them.
27-yard line.
First and 10 for the Middies at their own 27, 28-yard line. Crum out of the shotgun, runs straight ahead. Rashad Berry and company on the stop. It'll be a 3-yard run out to the 31. Lorain defense needs to come up here. Let's go down to Craig Couch for the sideline report. Craig.
All right, guys, wanted to give you a quick update on defensive back Cole Franks for the Midview Middies. You might remember, I think it was early part of the second quarter, he went out with an ankle injury, and he does have a sprained ankle. It's unlikely he'll return to the ballgame tonight.
Thank you, Craig. That sideline report brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Colson and Colson Orthopedics. If you're an aging athlete suffering with sore joints, call for relief. Cleveland Clinic, Colson and Colson Orthopedics. They've got 6 area locations, including the new emergency room in Avon. One of the Lorain Titans is being looked at as we speak. 5:56 to go, third quarter. Lorain trailing Midview by a score of 24-14. I'll tell you what, this game is dragging on, fellas.
It has slowed down immensely here.
The young man who was hurt and coming off the field is Sterling Jeffries. We've called his name a few times tonight. He's played a good game.
He has played a good game. Been a real impact the past 2 defensive series for the Lorain Titans. So hopefully he gets off the field and isn't too badly banged up and might be able to make a return to the game.
5:56 to go in the third. Midview out in front, 24-14. Second and 5, back to action. Crum to throw out in the flat. It's complete to the 30-yard line, out to the 35, making a man miss at the 40, out to the 45-yard line. Nice job, Dante Redwood. First and 10, Midview. So that'll get him into the 45. Nice pitch and catch there of about 13 yards. Middies have it first and 10 from their own 45. Both teams in action next week, both on the road. Midview at Amherst. Lorain's at Elyria. The Lorain-Elyria game on AM 930 WEOL and WEOL.com. Handoff, getting it is that sophomore who got a carry in the early going, Alec Four with a carry of 2 up to the 47. Off the bottom of the pile for Lorain on defense, Robert Orsler and Kenneth Washington. This big offensive line for Midview, in my opinion, has been pretty impressive. For 5 guys who have replacing 5 starters from last year, an entire new offensive line. Again, the smallest on that line is 234 pounds. I think they've done a pretty good job. Back to throw. Crum fires. It is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, off the hands of Dimitri Redwood. 3rd and 8.
And you like to see Redwood pull that one down. It was right there in his hands. Looked to be like a good pass. Just couldn't haul it in for the first down catch.
Brunswick leads Medina 36-0. That's our game on WEOL.com. Stream number 3, our Medina County matchup. Brunswick 36, Medina nothing. Handoff out of the shotgun. Zapancic starts inside, tries to go to the outside, and doing a great job hanging on for the tackle is Aaron Huff. Aaron Huff had an interception in the first half. Right there he makes a tackle, and it's 4th and 8, and Lorain should get the football back. The Titans within 10 should get the ball back here. 4.5 minutes to go in the third on 4th and 7. Boy, Lorain doesn't have anybody back. You would think they'd be punting. Crum out of the shotgun. He is going to quick kick it. It's blocked. It is blocked, and Lorain will take over. So Crum tried to quick kick it. Lorain didn't have anybody back deep, and they get the block. The Titans with a block, and that's going to be Robert Orsler. So Orsler's good game continues. That block gives the Titans great field position, and they have it at the Midview 42 after the block punt.
That's the problem. When you don't put a guy all the way back to punt, those defensive guys, they're coming for you. And when you're not far off the line of scrimmage, they can get to you quickly, and that's exactly what happened there. That's why you need that extra 5 yards.
And the other thing was Lorain didn't drop anybody back, so they had everybody coming. And now the Titans have it in great position at the Midview 42 to start this drive. Williamson, who's been the quarterback all night long, back to throw, fires, has a man off the hands of the intended receiver, Sherman Saunders, 2nd and 10.
And that pass, good throw, just a little high for his intended receiver, Sherman Saunders.
Don't forget the post-game show immediately following this one is brought to you by the Nick Abraham Auto Mall. Getting your next vehicle is a snap. It's that easy. The Nick Abraham Auto Mall at Route 57 at East Broad Street in Elyria. Hand off to Chavez. Chavez gets a couple of yards, and a penalty flag comes all the way in from the back judge. We're going to get a face mask on Midview. Face mask on the Middies. That short gain, it would have been 3rd and 10, but now a face mask called by the back judge is going to cost Midview.
And there you go, and again, another penalty at a crucial moment in the game.
And they're going to mark it 15 yards against Midview. 1st and 10, Lorain at the Midview 27. 4:09 to go in the third quarter. The Middies might be putting them, or I should say the Titans might be putting themselves right back into this game. They were down 24-8 just a few minutes ago. Williamson is going to pitch it. It's fumbled, loose, and who got it? He was trying to get it to Hawthorne. It's loose on the ground. Titans say they have it. They do. Wow, is Lorain fortunate there?
It didn't even look like Hawthorne was looking for the pitch right there. He didn't have his head turned around.
I think coming up with that fumble recovery was Nelson LeBoy, the offensive guard. And I'll tell you what, that might be the play of the game. If the Titans go on to come back and win this game, don't forget that fumble recovery. That is huge. 2nd and 14 from the 30. Rolling left is Williamson. Williamson to run. Plenty of room to the 25. Down to the 20. Still on his feet at the 15. A first down and more. Inside the 10. Inside the 5. 1st and goal for the Titans. Eddie Williamson with a huge run. And right after they recover a fumble where they could have turned it over, a Williamson run down to the 3, and it's 1st and goal for the Titans. Hawthorne and Neal are next to Williamson. Hand off to Neal. Neal over the left side, diving forward. He's close, and he is going to be just shy of the goal line. Oh, now they're going to come in with a late call and say he's in. They were running in from the side. I thought they had marked him like a half a yard shy, but after several seconds, they give Aaron Neal a 3-yard touchdown run, his 2nd touchdown of the third quarter. And with 3:28 to go in the third, the Titans are within a score.
And like you said, it's a big fumble recovery by the offensive guard for the Titans. Without that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Nelson LeBoy who came up with that. Now the Titans want to go for 2 once again. Rashad Berry in motion. Taking the football, Williamson rolling to his right. Williamson throwing in the flat. It is going to be incomplete. 2-point conversion, no good. And Midview leads 24-20. We're going to take a timeout. You're listening to the WEOL Colson and Colson Gridiron Clash. And we're live streaming on the internet, Matt, at WEOL.com.
For too many parents, a baby's first steps aren't just a milestone. They're a miracle. A miracle made possible by volunteers like you, who walk and raise money in March for Babies. Sign up today to take the steps that help make milestones and even miracles possible. Who will you march for?
Welcome back to Midview. 3 minutes, 28 seconds to go, third quarter. Back-to-back touchdowns for the Titans, and they're right back in it, Matt, trailing 24-20.
They sure are, and you know what? It's really been their defense. I mean, their offense has played well, but their offense has played, for the most part, well the entire game, but their defense has really stepped their game up here in the second half and really just taken it to Midview and not really let them get anything other than that penalty that they had that didn't cost them much, but at the time it looked like it could have been something. So hats off to the Lorain Titans defense.
Aaron Neal with that 3-yard touchdown run means another $15 in the Points for Charity, sponsored by Mike Bass Ford at I-90 at Detroit. For a great deal and a great deal more, WEOL partnering with Mike Bass Ford to raise money for the United Way of Greater Lorain County. Short kick taken by the Middies at their own 30, out to the 35-yard line. Let's go to Craig Couch for this sideline report. Craig?
All right, guys, let's give some credit to the Lorain Titans offensive line. Josh Fenn, Roger Jones, and Sly Worth pushing the pile forward on that short 2 to 3 yard touchdown run, if that, by Aaron Neal. He was able to sneak in kind of underneath the pile on that short run thanks to the big guys up front. Defensively, credit Logan Bolin on the stop on that 2-point conversion. No small task keeping the Lorain receiver Rashad Berry out of the end zone. Bolin giving up about 50 pounds at about 4 inches.
All right, thanks very much, Craig Couch. Movement along the line, that's going to be a penalty. 24-20 with 3:24 to go, and this is going to go against Midview. Procedure against the Middies. Boy, just a few minutes ago, Matt, it looked like Midview had this all under control at 24-8, and all of a sudden, 2 touchdowns within 3 minutes of one another, and the Titans are right back in it.
They absolutely are, and this is what I was talking about. Putting some pressure on Midview's offense, making them have to make plays, and so far they haven't answered that bell.
Back to throw. It is going to be Crum. Crum is going to be sacked. He is sacked from the outside. Kenneth Washington. Kenneth Washington on the sack, 2nd and long, and now that Titan bench is starting to feel it across the way. They were down 24-8, could have had their heads hanging after that penalty, and it looked like a here we go again deal, and they're just not letting that happen. And within 2 minutes and 56 seconds, they score back-to-back touchdowns. And now it's 2nd and long. Crum back to throw. Being pressured, throws a screen. Great call against this defense. Penalty flag. We're going to get a late hit. And bringing down Redwood on that play is Aaron Neal. It was Dimitri Redwood on the reception. I think you're going to have a roughing the passer penalty here.
Flag on the play.
Personal foul, roughing the passer against the Titans. And that will give Midview a huge first down.
It absolutely will. And give them great field position, too. They're not as backed up in their own territory now. Going to be at about midfield.
And the Indians, good news from Kansas City, Missouri. The Indians out in front of the Royals, 4-0 in the 3rd inning. Again, tomorrow and Sunday, thanks to Dave Rydell for that update. You can hear Indians baseball on AM 930 WEOL. 7:05 first pitch tomorrow night. They've moved Sunday's game back to 8:05 for national television. And we'll have both games on AM 930 WEOL. Handoff Zapancic. He's brought down after a 2-yard short gain. Nice job there, Aaron Neal. That is Aaron Huff. Aaron Huff and Aaron Neal both have played well defensively for the Titans. 2nd and 8. The ball at midfield. Just a little more than 2 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Lorain leads Midview 24-20. Glad you could join us for the WEOL.com stream number 2, Colson and Colson Gridiron Clash. Alongside Matt Bean and Craig Couch, I'm Rob Polinsky. Firing out the flat, it is caught, and it's a gain to the 45-yard line, but stopping him shy of the first down. Pass complete. And that is going to be Dante Redwood. 3rd and 3. Third and 3 to the 15. 90 seconds to play, 3rd quarter. Handoff Zapancic. Zapancic on the inside. Zapancic shakes the tackle. Zapancic gets a first down, late penalty flag, 7-yard run.
Zapancic, the ball carrier, but there's a flag in the play.
Well, Zapancic, he's just a tough kid to get down. Whether he's on the interior of that line or he's on the outside. He's not a kid that you want to get in there with.
Holding against Midview. That is going to take that first down away. That's big. Decaf Danny Perrick lets us know that Avon leads Avon Lake 31-7. And Fremont Ross out in front of Elyria 19-14 thanks to Dave Rydell. 3rd and long, a pass on the flat is caught. Shaking a tackle is Redwood. Now he'll be brought down at midfield. It'll be 4th and 7. and Lorain's going to get the football back, down 24-20. The Titans are going to get the football back with an opportunity to take the lead. And who would have thought that when it was 24-8 Midview with 6:24 to go in the third?
Well, with the way the first half was, you would have never thought this game was even going to get to this point. And now it's more like.
But you can tell those Lorain kids they believe in this coaching staff, they believe in themselves. Win or lose, this has been an impressive effort for the kids from Lorain because they were down 24-8 and easily could have hung their heads and say, here we go again, but they did not. How they have responded has been most impressive.
And you don't want to put it on coaching, but that's where the experience of Dave McFarland could come into play. And it's just
they
something.
Believe in him.
Yeah, they absolutely do. And he knows how to get kids to respond because he's been around the game for so long. I mean, DJ Shaw is doing a great job with Midview, but his first time head coaching, maybe not quite sure exactly how to get the response from the kids and to play exactly how they should be playing. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the game, but it's been great so far.
4th and 7. 47 seconds to go in the third quarter. Ball midfield. Crum the punt. Last punt was blocked when he tried to do a quick kick. This time he goes back with a conventional lineup and will boot that one out of bounds. And it is going to rush and say out of bounds. It rolls dead at the 16. So Lorain's got a long way to go. 37 seconds to go in the third quarter. They have it 1st and 10 at their own 17.
And now let's see if the Titans can somewhat handle the pressure of being down by 4 points. You've had 2 great offensive possessions in a row. Let's see if they can put a third one together and go down the field and put some points on the board.
24-20, Midview leads with 37.6 seconds to go in this third quarter. Williamson out of the shotgun, 2 running backs next to him. He'll take it. He is going to hand off. Little room to run right up the gut, maybe a 1 or 2 yard gain. They may or may not get this next play off. We're down to 20 seconds to go third quarter. They have not come to the line of scrimmage yet. I think Lorain's going to talk it over. They are. We've played 3 quarters of football. Our score, it is Midview 24, Lorain 20. We're going to be back with the 4th and final quarter right after this timeout. You're listening to the WEOL Colson and Colson Gridiron Clash. We're streaming live, Matt,
on WEOL.com.
The Warriors to Work program makes it possible for wounded warriors and their families to build new lives together.
When my dad left, I was like this big, but now I'm like this big. My dad got a master's degree in human resources.
Thanks to Warriors to Work that my dad has a terrific job.
The Wounded Warrior Project helps him by, giving him another start.
Now that my dad's home, I get a lot more hugs.
I'm really proud of him.
Find out more about Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
Start of the fourth quarter, 24-20. Midview leads Lorain, 2nd and 9 for the Titans inside their own 20. Williamson out of the shotgun, has running backs on either side of him on 2nd and 9. Eddie gets a good snap, looks to throw, wants to fire, has a man, it's caught at the 40-yard line, a gain of over 20. It's going to be a first down. He got it to Perry Mincy. And Mincy's right ankle is shaken up. He is going to hop out of the ball game. Oh, he tried to run off the field, and he goes straight down. Mincy is hurt, but he got a first down catch from the 18 all the way out to the 40, about a 22-yard gain. 1st and 10 Titans. That might have been Williamson's best throw of the ball game.
It was a beautiful throw right across the middle of the field. It's too bad Mincy had to get kind of rolled up on that play. But like I said, if you throw the ball a little bit, it's going to open this game just for your running game. And now they're going to be able to pound the ball down the field a little bit. take control of the game, potentially go ahead.
And a personal foul against Midview, roughing the passer on top of it. Add another 15 yards on top of this. Now it's going to be 1st and 10, Lorain in Midview territory. Mincy is going to be able to walk off the field. 15 yards, Lorain has it 1st and 10 at the Midview 45.
And Midview's just shooting themselves in the foot at this point.
And you know what now? Lorain has confidence. Now they are a dangerous team because they have confidence.
Yep, they've taken the pressure, they've handled it, and now they're coming back from it.
1st and 10, Lorain at the Middy 45, just underway, 4th quarter, 11:54 to play. Lorain trailing Midview 24-20. Williamson out of the shotgun, gets a perfect snap. He's going to roll to his left, has room to run across the 40, down to the 35, 1st down to the 30, still on his feet, and he is tripped up at the 30-yard line, a gain of 15. 1st and 10. 15 yards on the gain. On the stop for Midview, Jacob Hack might have saved a touchdown. Titans 1st and 10 at the Midview 30. Williamson awaits the snap from Roger Jones. Gets it, handoff straight up the gut, maybe 3 yards. Jones is going to done a good job snapping it back to Williamson out of the shotgun most of the night. That handoff that time went to Dontravius Hawthorne. 3-yard gain to the 27. Williamson will roll to his right. He can run or throw. He's going to pitch the ball at the end of that to the 25-yard line down to the 22, Chavez. It'll be 3rd and short, maybe a yard shy of the 1st down.
And Williams has done a great job so far with that option play. I mean, almost every time except for that one time down here on the other end of the field in the 3rd quarter where he just made a bad pitch.
Williamson, the quarterback, 3rd and 1. And that snap goes wide to the left. He's going to pick it up, got a long room to run. He's going to get the 1st down. Williamson does a great job, gets all the way down to the 15. Oh my, he just saved the day for the Titans. That snap was wide into his left. It went behind him by about 10 yards. He found it, grabbed it, gathered himself, and got the 1st down. You talk about a cool cucumber back there, Eddie Williamson.
They've had one on every drive that they've scored on, though. So this could be good news for the Lorain Titans here.
Handoff up the gut, and they're going to get down to the 13-yard line. And let's send it down to Craig Couch for this sideline report. Craig?
Guys, as we get closer to the end zone here, keep an eye on number 6, Rashad Berry. He's lining up against number 10, Ryan Miller for the Midview Middies, and Berry has about a 7-inch height advantage.
And Williamson keeps it. He's at the 10, down to the 5-yard line, and diving forward. Did he get in? He did! Carlos Chavez runs it in for a 12-yard touchdown. And the Titans lead with 9:49 to go, 26-24. I didn't even see Chavez get it. But he got the ball from Williamson and somehow kept the pile going forward, and from 12 yards out, the Titans lead.
They ran that option play again, and I tell you what, that's been their go-to play. They can get out to the edge, and if Williamson doesn't see it, pitches it outside, and they get to the sideline, and every single time it's positive yards down the field.
They're going to go for 2 with 9:49 to go in the ball game. Williamson rolling to his right. He is going to run, and Williamson is going to be run out of bounds. No 2-point conversion. Devin Crum stops him. Lorain leads 26-24, 9:49 to go. Let's take a timeout. You're listening to the WEOL Colson & Colson Gridiron Clash. We're online, streaming live, Matt.
At WEOL.com.
You cannot stop a tornado. You cannot shift its direction. A tornado is a force of nature, but so are you. If you find yourself in a path of severe weather, there's plenty you can do to protect yourself and your family. Immediately go to shelter, and then with a text, a status update, or a tweet, you can alert your social network about the coming threat. Visit noaa.gov/WRN to learn how you can be a force of nature in the face of severe weather. Send a message. Save a life. Be a force of nature.
26-24, Lorain leads. Matt, an impressive comeback for the Titans.
This has been an impressive comeback. They didn't look so hot in the first half, and the second half it's been all Lorain offense and defense. Midview has not had an answer for them. Let's see if Midview can get something together here. Put a drive down and go down the field and put something on the board.
Well, right now, what's happened the last, quarter of this game, now this is a very confident Lorain team. Kick will bounce, picked up at the 20-yard line, out to the 25-yard line, Mahone to the 30, out to the 35, penalty flag comes in. Right now, Midview would have it 1st and 10 at their own 35, but let's see what the flag is.
Returns at 15 yards, but there's a penalty flag.
We're waiting for the officials. Illegal use of the hands on Midview on the return.
And this could get interesting here. See Midview's kicker warming up on the sidelines just in case they get into field goal range to put them up by 1.
1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. And we should alert Decaf Danny back at the studio. Decaf Danny, I'm being told they might send it to us. So if they do, please let us know. Pass over the middle is complete at midfield. On the return, it's going to be Dante Redwood. Redwood with the reception, 25 yards. 1st and 10, Midview at midfield with 9:38 to play in the game.
And that's just the kind of play you were looking for if you're Midview. Something to get the fans excited, something to get your confidence up.
Devin Crum, who has played all but one series at quarterback. 9:28 to go. His team trails 26-24. Handoff Zupancic. Zupancic to the outside, to the 45, still on his feet. Down the sidelines to the 40. Has a first down to the 37-yard line. He is brought down by Naz Bohannon. Another first down for Midview. So a 25-yard pass play and a 14-yard run has Midview down to the Lorain 36. And don't forget, Midview has Kellen McGuire, who was hit a field goal earlier in the game. McGuire had a 26-yard field goal, and he is a weapon for Midview, and they trail by 2. So a field goal would give the Middies the lead. Crum looking deep, has a man, and it is just overthrown inside the 10-yard line. Single coverage out there, and that was a good effort by Midview. Stops the clock, 2nd and 10, 8:59 to play.
Dimitri Redwood looks like he beat his man on the far side there. Came up a little lame on his ankle. You don't know if that's what hampered him and he wasn't able to get to the ball, but beautiful ball thrown out there by Dustin Crum, just a little ahead of his receiver.
2nd and 10 from the 36-yard line, 26-24, Lorain, 8:59 to play. 4 receivers, 2 to each side. Handoff Zupancic. Zupancic to the outside, trying to get to the inside, gets 2 yards down to the 34. Aaron Neal, Naz Bohannon, and Robert Orsler, 3 of the Titans on the stop.
Zupancic, the ball carrier, gain of 2.
And this is the offense we saw for Midview in the first half.
There's a 3rd down and 8.
3rd and 8. Alongside Matt Bean, Craig Couch on the sidelines, I'm Rob Polinsky. Heck of a high school football game tonight. 3rd and 8, Midview. Crum out of the shotgun, steps up in the pocket. He's in trouble and he's sacked. He is sacked, and for It's Aaron Huff, and he had help by Josh Fenn. Huff and Fenn on the sack. 4th and 13 for Midview. The line of scrimmage is the Lorain 40, and with 8 minutes to play, will the Middies punt or will the Middies go?
I think you punt the ball here, and hopefully your defense can come out and get a stop. And
Midview hasn't stopped Lorain in the last 3. You got to take that into consideration. They haven't stopped them this half. 4th and 13. Will they go or not? Crum, he has quick kick from here before. He's going back to throw. Looking to throw, being troubled, being rushed. He's in trouble at midfield. He's going to be sacked. They'll lose another 10 yards on the sack. For the Midview Middies, for the Lorain Titans, it's Kenneth Washington. So Midview rolls the dice, and it comes up snake eyes. Back-to-back sacks gives Lorain the ball, 1st and 10 at midfield. 7:41 to go, and Lorain leads at 26-24. The Titans trailed 24-8 with 6:24 to go in the 3rd quarter. And they have scored 18 straight points, 3 touchdowns. Missed every 2-point conversion. But from a 24-8 deficit, they now lead 26-24 with 7:41 to go. 1st and 10 from midfield. Williamson in the offense, back out there. Eddie out of the shotgun, takes it, hands it off. Chavez, he'll run ahead for 5. 2nd and 5 for the Titans. Running over that left side of Chris Mayer and Roger Jones.
And this is where Lorain can just really kill the clock, pounding that ball, running it like they have been all game.
Second and 5 Titans from the Midview 45. 7 minutes to play. Handoff over the left side, a gain of 2. 3rd and 3 from the 44. That was Dontravius Hawthorne. And now you've got a big 3rd down here, guys. 3rd and 4. 6:45 to play. Clock running. Midview has 3 timeouts left. Lorain with 2. Clock becoming a factor with 6.5 minutes to go on 3rd and 4. Williamson rolling to his left. He is going to run. He is going to get the first down to the 40, down to the 35. Keeps the drive alive all the way down to the 34. 1st and 10, Lorain Titans.
And you had to think it was going to be Williamson keeping the ball or possibly running the option.
Let's send it down to Craig Couch. Craig?
All right, guys, man, what a tale of 2 halves for the Lorain Titans. This is definitely a different team that came out of the locker room at halftime than what we saw in the first half. And I tell you what a big series here for the Titans and for Midview. If the Titans can score here, they can pretty much put the game away and make it very difficult for Midview to win this ball game.
1st and 10, handoff Chavez. Chavez over the left side. He's going to gain 2 down to the 33.
Carlos Chavez, the ball carrier, brought down by a host of Middies.
So it'll be 2nd and 9. 5:45 to go. Titans lead 26-24.
We've received a report that there's a lost right iPod 5. It's with a Nightmare Before Christmas case.
2nd and 8. Line of scrimmage, the Midview 33. Midview 33, Williamson out of the shotgun. 2 running backs to either side of him. Eddie will take it. He's going to hand it off to the running back on the left, and that is Neal, and he fumbled the ball, but Lorain fell on it. Boy, the Titans fortunate there, hang on to the ball. It'll be 3rd and short, 5 minutes to go.
And Neal, the ball carrier, fumble on the play, but recovered by the Titans. Brings up 3rd down and 3 for the Titans.
3rd and short. Handoff over the right side. Chavez on his feet. 1st down inside the 20, all the way down to the 17-yard line. The Titans keeping a drive alive. And now we welcome in the radio audience on AM 930 WEOL and Stream number 1 on WEOL.com. We've got a great game here from Midview. 4:42 to go in the ball game. Lorain leads Midview 26-24. The Titans have it 1st and 10 at the Midview 17-yard line. Lorain trailed 24-8 with 6:24 to go in the third quarter. But 3 consecutive touchdowns have given them the lead. They lead 26-24. And they're looking to get more here with 1st and 10 at the Midview 17. Eddie Williamson been one of the stars of the game out of the shotgun. And we're going to get a whistle and a what? We're going to get a timeout for the Titans. Titans take a timeout with 4 minutes and 12 seconds to go. And I'll tell you what, since we've got the radio audience with us, just joining us, we'll keep it here and kind of recap this one for you. For those of you who have been listening to Avon beat Avon Lake tonight, after one quarter, Midview led Lorain 14-0. At halftime, it was Midview 17-8. After 3 quarters, Midview led 24-20. But a Chavez 12-yard run with 9:49 to go in the ball game gave Lorain their first lead at 26-24. Been a seesaw game. Midview dominated the first half. Matt Bean, Lorain has dominated the second half.
And they've done it on the ground. 247 yards on the ground for Lorain throughout the entire game. And most of that's been in the second half because, well, they had that one drive in the first quarter that was really nice. I believe they had about 70 yards on the ground in that drive. The entire second half has been nothing but ground and pound for them. They've thrown the ball a couple times to open it up. And Williamson runs the option so well.
1st and 10 for Lorain at the Midview 17. 4 minutes, 12 seconds to go. Williamson out of the shotgun, rolling to his right. He's going to get to the 15, still on his feet, down to the 14-yard line, a gain of 3, and he'll be brought down by Kyle Troutman. The senior linebackers had a good game tonight for Midview. 2nd and 7. Clock running, under 4 minutes to go. Midview with 1 timeout remaining. Lorain has all 3. Lorain leads 26-24. 2nd and 7. Line of scrimmage, the Middies 14-yard line. And the Titans come to the line of scrimmage. They've been in the shotgun all night long. Hawthorne and Neal are the 2 running backs on either side of Williamson. Neal gets the handoff over the left side, squirts down to about the 11, a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd and 4. And Midview's going to take their final timeout. Midview takes their last timeout with 3:21 to go in the football game.
Sergeant Michelle Garcia served meritoriously in Iraq and has the medals to prove it. Soon after leaving the Navy, Lieutenant Chris Scott found a job, a home, and started a family of his own. Corpsman Richard Stokely took the skills he learned in Vietnam and put them to good use as a paramedic. But soon after leaving the military, each of these veterans fell on hard times and faced homelessness. Even after Michelle lost all her savings, even after Chris wasn't able to pay his mortgage, and even after Richard battled alcoholism for years, they each reached out for help when they needed it most. A simple phone call put them in touch with a trained professional from the Department of Veterans Affairs. That call got Michelle a place to stay until she could afford one of her own, put Chris in touch with employment assistance, and found Richard a substance abuse program. These veterans are success stories not only for how they were able to help others while serving their country, but for how they were able to let others help them. If you know of or are a veteran in need, make the call.
Now let's recap the scoring for you. Midview got on the board, led 7-0, 3:59 to go in the first quarter. Crum to Mahone from 10 yards out. Minute 14 to go in the first quarter. Crum to Bolin 24 yards out. Midview led 14-0. Sherman Saunders had a 1-yard touchdown run at 5:01 of the first half to make it 14-6. He then scored on the 2-point conversion to make it 14-8. Kellen McGuire hit a 26-yard field goal for Midview on 4th and goal with 2.4 seconds remaining in the half. Midview led going into the locker room 17-8. Midview, on their first drive of the third quarter, scored on a Brett Zapancic 24-yard run to go up 24-8. And in that drive, Lorain could have gotten the ball back. They had sacked Midview. It would have been a turnover on downs, but they got called for a late hit. They get called for the late hit. Midview scores a touchdown. They go up 24-8. And you're thinking this game is pretty much over. But Lorain didn't think that. Neal with a 1-yard run, 6:24 to go in the third to make it a 10-point game. Neal with a 3-yard run to make it a 4-point game. And Chavez with a 12-yard run in the fourth quarter to give Lorain the lead. It's now 3rd and 4 from the 11 with 3:21 to go. Williamson rolls left, has time, wants to throw. Now he's going to come back to the right side, looking, throwing to the end zone, penalty flag, and it's incomplete. Flag at about the 5-yard line, and let's see, what do we have here? I think we're going to have a legal man downfield on Lorain as Williamson was scrambling forever, and one of the linemen went downfield.
And Williamson had Saunders wide open in the center of the field for about 3 seconds. I don't know if he just didn't see him or he was locked onto his target, which was Dejon Brown, but he had Saunders wide open right in the center of the field at the end zone. Looked like a pretty easy pass.
Let's send it down to Craig Couch. Craig?
All right, guys, down here on the Lorain sideline, you know, one of the things that I've noticed, a big difference from the first half for Lorain, is their offensive line is getting a push here in the second half that they weren't getting in the first half. Certainly not to take anything away from the efforts of that offensive line, but you have to keep in mind that Midview has a lot of kids playing both ways.
3rd and 9. After the penalty, back to the 16. Williamson throws it into flat. It is complete to the 15-yard line, down to about the 11-yard line. And it's going to be 4th down. That pass to Perry Mincy, who has made some big catches tonight. Now you're looking at about a 4th and 5. The line of scrimmage is the Midview 12. If you're wondering about the Lorain kicking game, I met with Dave McFarland earlier this week and asked who his kicker was, and he told me he didn't have one. And I believe him because they have scored 4 touchdowns, and they have gone for 2-point conversions every time. They have gotten 1 out of 4. So, in other words, they're not kicking a field goal here. 4th and 5 from the Midview 12, 2:51 to go. Lorain leads 26-24. A touchdown would give Lorain an 8-point lead, and then you'd have the conversion to follow.
They haven't had the bad snap on this drive yet.
Middies student body on their feet, making noise here at Adelsburg Stadium. Well, it's been a great night for football. Really good crowd here tonight. Couldn't ask for a better effort from these two teams. 2:51 to play. I'm not sure what this delay is. I see the umpires over here on the sideline, but that doesn't mean I know what the delay is.
It's a TV timeout.
.251 to play. They're sending the teams to the sidelines. I'm not sure what this is about, but want to let you know that coming up after this one in our Nick Abraham Auto Mall postgame show, we're going to have the Lorain County Community College Player of the Game. WEOL football games online this year at WEOL.com. Those are sponsored by the University of Toledo. A big thanks to the University of Toledo. Discover experiential learning at the University of Toledo. It's just 2 hours from the Metro Cleveland area. That last sideline report from Craig Couch was brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. Every athlete deserves world-class care. When injured, come to the new emergency room at the Richard E. Jacobs Family Health Center in Avon. 4th and 5 from the 11. We still have a delay on the, and I've got 3 officials over here on the side. No idea what's going on. On the Midview sidelines, now they're coming over to talk to DJ Shaw. 4th and 5 from the 11, 2:51 to go. We're still waiting. Ohio State football tomorrow, 10:30 in the morning with the pregame, noon to kickoff. The Ohio State season begins in Baltimore, Maryland. The Buckeyes at Navy on WEOL. 4th and 5, we're finally underway. From the 11, Williamson out of the shotgun. Eddie Williamson takes it, back to throw, throwing into the end zone. It is overthrown, incomplete, trying to get it to Rashad Berry. They'll turn it over on downs to Midview. Midview gets the ball with 2 minutes, 40 seconds to go, and they're still showing Midview with 1 timeout remaining.
And they had the right idea, throwing it to the big man who had the height advantage in the corner. Williamson just overthrew his man out of bounds. Otherwise, that's an easy catch for Barry because he's just got to go up and grab it.
Midview down by 2. A field goal would give them the lead. There's 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. They only have one timeout, and the ball is at their own 11.
You wouldn't want an opening week of high school football to end any other way, would you?
Well, I'll tell you, after dominating the first half, their offensive line, the second half, Lorain's done a much better job of getting pressure on Devin Crum. I think that's been one of the keys to the Titan comeback. But Devin Crum and the offense with another opportunity. 1st and 10, Midview at their own 11. 2:40 to play. Crum out of the shotgun. He's going to step up in the pocket. He's going to run across the 15. He's across the 20. Has a first down as he gets out to the 25-yard line to the 26, a 15-yard run. And he is brought down by Aaron Neal. Nice decision by the sophomore quarterback, Dustin Crum. Dustin Crum, first game starting at quarterback as a sophomore. Again, DJ Shaw in the pregame said, I'm going to flip a coin in the locker room to decide whether it's Crum or Bolin. Well, Crum has played every series at quarterback but one. Throw over the middle is going to be complete to Dante Redwood. And that'll be close to another first down as he gets across the 35 to the 36. It is a first down.
That's a gain of 10, first down. Midview.
They should stop the clock with the first down. Boy, the clock ran. Now they finally stop it with 2:01 to go. But the clock was running. I'll tell you what, Midview just lost about 10 seconds. Under 2 minutes to go in the ball game. Crum out of the shotgun with time, steps up, fires for Bolin. He caught it. Bolin caught it at the 30. And we're going to get pass interference. And is it on Lorain or on Midview? I don't know. Bolin caught the ball. The official threw the flag. They were both pushing off on one another. Let's see.
That was a great catch there by Bolin.
But the official made an incomplete signal like he was out of bounds. So let's see. Who's the penalty on? Is it offensive interference for Bolin pushing off? Is it defensive interference on Kevin Davis? It was one-on-one coverage. It is defensive interference, which is going to be a 15-yard penalty against Lorain. And this should be 1st and 10 from midfield. It is. 1:46 to go. Midview has it down by 2. 1st and 10 from midfield. A field goal would give Midview a 1-point lead. Lorain trailed 24-8 in the third quarter, and they now lead 26-24. Midview looking for the game-winning drive. Crum to throw, has a man, it's complete to Bolin at the 40, down to the 38-yard line. Robert Orsler laid the lick, but it's another first down, and I'll tell you what, the Titans might want to consider a timeout defensively. A minute 39 to go. I know that doesn't sound conventional, but they are giving up yardage in big chunks right now.
And Crum's feeling real comfortable in the pocket.
Right. 4 receivers, 2 to each side. Zapancic, the single setback next to Crum. And we are going to get that timeout called by Lorain. They take it. They know how big this is right now.
Yep.
A minute 30 to go in the game. Matt, what a high school football game we have had here tonight. Let's go down to the sidelines. Here is Craig Couch from the Lorain sidelines. Craig?
All right, guys, of course, you expect the Middies to throw the ball with 1:30 left in the game, down by 2. But something to keep in mind as they look downfield at Dimitri Redwood, Damian Mahone, and Logan Bolin. Redwood goes 6'2", Mahone goes 6'1", Bolin 6'2". All three of Midview's best receivers with about a 3-4 inch height advantage on their Lorain defenders.
All right, thanks very much to Craig Couch, and that sideline report brought to you by Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. They're proud to be involved with area school sports programs for over 72 years. Cleveland Clinic, Colson & Colson Orthopedics. Indians lead 4-0 in the 5th inning at Kansas City. Of course, Cleveland and Kansas City you can hear tomorrow night and Sunday night's games on AM 930 WEOL. As the Indians in Kansas City for a huge series, but right now, high school football week number 1, this is a classic. Coming right down to the end with a minute and a half to go. Lorain leads Midview 26-24. Midview has it 1st and 10 from the Lorain 38-yard line. Each team with 1 timeout remaining. Crum out of the shotgun. Zapancic next to him. 3 receivers in the game. Back to throw is Crum. Crum flushed out of the pocket. He is going to be chased down and run out of bounds. Stops the clock. Orsler and Bohannon run him out of bounds. Penalty flag in the defensive secondary.
Crum on the scramble, but there's a penalty flag.
Penalty flag in the secondary. It was a gain of 3. Let's see what the penalty is. Middies are indicating this is going against Lorain. I'll tell you what, for whoever loses this game, this is going to be a heartbreaker.
Yep.
Oh, this is going to be a tough loss for somebody to take. Defensive holding against Lorain. 1st and 10 for the Titans. 1st and 10 for the Middies at the Titan 26 with 1:22 to go. 4 receivers, 2 to each, 5 receivers. Empty backfield, 3 to the far side, 2 to the near. Crum out of the shotgun, perfect snap, being flushed out of the pocket, rolling to the right, got around Rashad Berry, throws towards the end zone. It is going to be incomplete. Just out of bounds. Boy, Rashad Berry had an angle at Dustin Crum and couldn't come up with him.
He did. He had a great chance at him, just couldn't bring him down, and then Crum threw the pass, and it looked like 2 Middies got tangled up, and that could have been the reason why they didn't complete that pass, other than it was a little out of their reach.
1:15 to play. 26-24 Lorain. 2nd and 10 Midview from the Titan 26-yard line. McGuire hit a 26-yard field goal in the first half for Midview. Crum back to throw. Fires, it is tapped at the line of scrimmage, batted down. Kenneth Williams knocked it down. 3rd and 10.
Crum's pass knocked down at the line of scrimmage by number 13, Kenneth Washington.
So Kenneth Washington knocks that one down. 3rd and 10.
Lorain 26-yard line.
Big play here. 1:12 to go. Clock stopped on the incomplete pass. Each team with a timeout remaining.
You'd like to get at least 5 yards here to make the 4th down easier.
You know, you're talking a 43-yard field goal from here. But he is a soccer player. Back to throw. Crum fires. It is complete and out of bounds to Bolin. Bolin caught it, and he's out of bounds at about the 10. 1st and 10 for the Middies. Keeps the drive alive, and now they're within striking distance. That ball is right at the 10-yard line with 1:07 to play. 1st and goal from the 10. 3 receivers to the far side, 1 to the near. Zapancic is next to Crum. This drive started all the way back at their own 11. Back to throw, firing over the middle. Bolin got it. Touchdown, Midview.
Wow.
Bolin from 10 yards out from Crum.
Wow.
And the Middies lead with 1:03 to go, 30-26. Crum the Bolin from 10 yards out, and the Middies go 89 yards. Midview has had touchdown drives tonight of 94 and 89 yards, and they lead 30-26 with 1:03 to go.
You couldn't have scripted it any better if you're Midview. I mean, you've played like absolute garbage in the second half, only to make a comeback and come this far. Let's see, they're going to go for 2 here.
30-26, they're up by 4. So Midview is going to, as you just said, go for 2 to try to make this a 6-point game. Crum to throw, fires, and it's off the hands of its intended receiver. Tried to get it to Damian Mahone. It is no good, but Midview leads 30-26. 1:03 to go. And that touchdown means another $15 in the Points for Charity, sponsored by Mike Bass Ford at I-90 in Detroit. A great deal and a great deal more. WEOL proud to partner with Mike Bass Ford to raise money once again this year for the United Way of Greater Lorain County. We have had 8 touchdowns, 2 turnovers, and a field goal. I believe that's $160 for Mike Bass Ford in the Points for Charity just in our game tonight. 1:03 to play. What a game we've had here.
Unbelievable.
And Midview regains the lead. They go 89 yards after stopping Lorain on 4th and 5 on the incomplete pass at the 11 when Lorain had an opportunity to put the game away. They tried to throw it to Rashad Berry over his head out of bounds. and Midview is cool as can be. They go 89 yards, and I think we've seen a sophomore quarterback come of age tonight, Dustin Crum. 6 foot, 275-pound sophomore, and Logan Boland's been a heck of a receiver for him. Boland has caught 2 touchdown passes. I know they came into this game. They were both going to play at quarterback. They were flipping a coin to decide who was going to be the starting quarterback.
I think they found their combo.
I think
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Now, with 1:03 to go, can Lorain come back? Who knows tonight? Kick comes down. Hawthorne gets it at his own 20 out of bounds. Hawthorne to the 25-yard line, and he's brought down. Lorain will get it 1st and 10 all the way back inside their own 25.
Alec Ford with a huge tackle. And
Alec Ford, a sophomore, 5'8", 168 pounds on special teams, came up with that stop with 59 seconds to go.
And you're forcing Lorain, who can't really get it done in the air, to go 75 yards on the ground.
They have no timeouts remaining. They do have Eddie Williamson, and let's see what they do. 1st and 10 from their own 23. They've got to go 77 yards. They're down by 4 points, so they must score a touchdown.
Got to seal the edge if you're Midview.
Williamson out of the shotgun. He's got Hawthorne next to him. 4 receivers, 2 to each side. We'll see if Lorain has some kind of a trick play up their sleeve. Williamson back to throw, rolling to his right, shakes the tackle, got to get rid of it, throwing downfield. It is going to be caught and then dropped, I believe. Incomplete it is. It was intended for Aaron Neal. It was incomplete. It would have been a gain of about 15. Stops the clock with 51 seconds to go. 2nd and 10, and we've got a Middy who is hurt on that play. Want to remind you, coming up, we've got the Nick Abraham Auto Mall postgame show. Getting your next vehicle is a snap. It's that easy. The Nick Abraham Auto Mall, Route 57 at East Broad Street in Elyria. And in that postgame show, we're going to have the Lorain County Community College player of the game. Well, Middy coming off the field being helped. And hopefully the young man will be okay.
Looks like junior Jacob Hack.
Yep, Jacob Hack, outside linebacker, shaken up, coming off the field. Hopefully he'll be all right. 2nd and 10, 51 seconds to go. Williamson gets the snap, throws on the flat, throws it high. It is going to be complete, and then they're going to pitch it back to Sherman Saunders. It was complete to Mincy, pitched it back to Saunders. Saunders is brought down. It's going to be a short gain. 3rd down, keeps the clock running. They got to hustle. No timeouts left. So they tried to pitch it after Mincy caught it. He was brought down right away. They're going to throw as long as he can. It's overthrown. The intended receiver, Dejon Brown, stops the clock with 25 and a half seconds. 4th and 4 for the Titans. Line of scrimmage, their own 29. Well, first things first, Lorain's got to get a 1st down, or else they turn it over on downs. If you get the 1st down, it stops the clock. Then you can think about a touchdown, but they've got to get a 1st down before they do anything else. 4th and 4 from their own 29. Williamson back to throw, looking, flushed out of the pocket, running for the 1st down. He's got it to the 35-40. Still on his feet to the 45, gets knocked out of bounds at the 47, and a penalty flag for a late hit is going to cost Midview 15 yards. What a big play is that?
And you
with 17 seconds left.
You can't have that at the end of the game.
This is going to put the ball in Midview territory.
It sure is. A 16-yard run then turns into a 31-yard gain at that point. You can't have that happen.
Line of scrimmage, the Midview 38. So now they're at the 38 with 17 seconds left. Lorain down by 4. They have no timeouts remaining. How far can Eddie Williamson throw a football? We're going to find out.
I don't know. At this point, you know what? If he drops back and doesn't see it, he needs to do what he's good at and take off down the field because he makes plays. That's all he's done.
They've got to get a 1st down or else they're going to run out of time if they don't get out of bounds. Williamson to throw. Fires over the middle to Rashad Berry. He caught it. He caught it at the 20. Rashad Berry, his first catch of the night. Inside the 20 to the 18, they're going to come up and spike it. There's 12 and a half seconds to go. The Titans are going to have a chance to win this game. And we're going to get what? The officials take timeout Midview. Timeout Midview. They take their final timeout with 12 and a half seconds to go. Do you believe this? 1st and 10 at the Midview 18-yard line. Neither team with a timeout remaining. 12 and a half seconds to go. Eddie Williamson converts on a 4th down on his feet. They keep the drive alive with a late hit. He finds Rashad Berry over the middle. Berry hasn't caught a pass tonight. He catches a pass for 18 yards all the way down to the 18.
Yep.
And Lorain is in the red zone with 12 and a half seconds to go.
Better late than never on catching your first pass of the game.
Midview leads 30-26. Lorain has to get a touchdown. Neither team has a timeout. This has been a classic. They're back to the line of scrimmage. Williamson with an empty backfield out of the shotgun. 5 receivers. Williamson gets it. Being rushed, being flushed, shakes a tackle, steps up. He's got to get rid of it. He fell down. He fell down, and they won't run another play. He fell down, and that's the end of the game. Oh, my.
That hurts.
Eddie Williamson slipped at the 25, eluding the defense. He fell down. They don't have any timeouts remaining, and that's the way Lorain loses the game. Boy, he just had to get rid of that football, and he slipped trying to make a pivot. He has run around and eluded the Middies all night long. They never tackled him tonight. The field turf here tackled him.
You hate to see the game
end
like that, especially for a kid who's made plays the entire game. Just loses his footing. Unbelievable. It was a heck of a game, though. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything else on the opening night of Lorain County High School football.
It was a classic. Our final score, it's Midview 30, Lorain 26.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools, TV 20 WLCS.
To purchase a high-quality copy of the program you just viewed, please call Lorain City Schools Television at 282-8400.